All right. Could you please mute your mic, please? Getting started here on YouTube. This is Khazak Aliyahu Yasharal, and welcome once again to another of our Shabbat teachings here on Just a Word Radio and on YouTube. Hope you have a great Shabbat as we strive to bring you yet another teaching. All right, so let's get started. Let me get this thing recorded. Yeah. All right. So, yes, when I get started here today, and we'll be looking at the time of Great Tribulation because we know we have been on fleeing from the midst of Babylon for a few weeks now, I think. And so we are going to be looking today at the Great Tribulation that the Messiah told us would come. And more specifically, we are going to look at the believers at the time of Great Tribulation. What is there for us as believers? What do we need to know? What do we need to do? So, because we have to make the word living and active and current for us, we have to make sure that we are a part of the word and to make sure that the word explains the world so that we are not lost and confused and swept away by the wiles of the devil. We have to be wise. In Daniel, it says, the wicked shall do wickedly, but the wise shall understand. And it tells us in the word that only it's wisdom that will save his people. So we have to be aware of exactly what is happening. So we look to Great Tribulation. What is Great Tribulation? And for that, we go into Matityahu 24:13 to 22. Shamuel, are you there? Shamuel. Matthew 24.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, cool.
Matthew 24:13.
But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved.
Yes, let's continue.
And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations.
Hearing somewhere.
What was
not
that?
Hearing me?
Not hearing somewhere.
Can anyone else hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm hearing you also, bro.
All right, okay, cool. All right. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come.
Continue.
Verse 15. When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation, spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place. Whoso readeth, let him understand. Then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. Let him which is...
All right. So here it is. When you see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place. And on the Kazakh Aliyahu channel, we did a video, what is the abomination of desolation? That will go more deeply into letting us know what the abomination of desolation is and what the holy place is, etc. So it says, when you see that, then it flee into the mountains. So, Shamuel, can you turn up your mic or something, please? So, when this happens, it says to flee into the mountains. And the reason to flee in the mountains, it says in verse 21.
For then shall the great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be.
So something is going to come that is going to be worse than anything that has ever happened in the history of the world. And those who do history and who study history shall know that there have been untold horrors that have occurred upon the face of the earth. In the Inquisition, for example, they told us that about 12 million people were killed. Some people estimated as much as 50 million people were killed. And we hear of world wars, how many millions were killed. We have heard of famines. We have heard of plagues. But it says this tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. Never, ever again in the history will this take place. And verse 22 tells us,
And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened.
so it's going to be so terrible that the Most High would have to shorten the days so that his elect can be saved. Okay? That is how terrible it will be. But why the Great Tribulation? So when the Great Tribulation first is when you see the abomination of desolation. So when you know what the abomination of desolation is, then you know that this is a time for Great Tribulation. So why Great Tribulation? Why Great Tribulation? And for that, we go to the book of 2nd Ezra 8, verse 50. Go ahead, please.
2nd Ezra chapter 8 verse 50. For many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride.
Because of what?
Because they have walked in great pride.
So at the time of tribulation, those who will escape the tribulation are those who have not walked in great pride, right, bro?
Exactly that.
So pride is one of the defining factors in believers in the end time. Because many of us are full of pride. Many of us, believers and sinners alike, are full of pride. But that is not the only reason. Let's continue. Verse 51.
But understand thou for thyself, and seek out the glory for such as be like thee. For unto you is paradise opened, the tree of life is planted, the time to come is prepared, plenteousness is made ready, a city is builded, and rest is allowed, yea, perfect goodness and wisdom.
So he was saying to Ezra that he is not one of those that walk in great pride. So every good thing is open to him. Verse 53.
The root of evil is sealed up from you, weakness and the moth is hid from you, and corruption is fled into hell to be forgotten.
So these are the lot, or this is the lot of the true believers of the Most High. Verse 54.
Sorrows are past, and in the end shewed the treasure of immortality.
Continue.
And therefore ask thou no more questions concerning the multitude of them that perish. For when they had taken liberty, they despised the Most High. I'm sorry, bro. Let me read that again. Sorry.
Yes.
What? Yeah. For when they had taken liberty, they despised the Most High, thought scorn of his law, and forsook his ways.
All right, so we have some more things here for the Great Tribulation. When they are taking liberty, when they had the choice,
Yes.
they despised the Most High.
Yeah.
They thought scorn of his law and forsook his ways. And add to all that their pride. Continue.
Moreover, they had trodden down his righteous.
It's another key. Children of Yasharal. They tread down his children. Verse 58.
And said in their heart that there is no allure, yea, and that knowing they must die.
And that knowing they must die. So we have pride, despising the Most High, thinking scorn of his law, and that brings us to the end, almost the entire Christianity, and forsook his ways, tread down the righteous, and said in their hearts there's no allure. Continue.
59. For as the things aforesaid shall receive you, so thirst and pain are prepared for them. For it was not his will that men should come to naught.
It is not his will that men should come to naught, but because of our choices and our decisions, then we will come to naught. We must die. So, as the good things are prepared for Ezra, so thirst and pain is prepared for those who reject the Most High, who do not walk in his righteousness. Verse 60.
But they which be created have defiled the name of him that made them, and were unthankful unto him which prepared life for them.
Continue.
And therefore is my judgment now at hand.
All right, so that's it. That's the reason. Some reasons for the tribulation. They defiled his name and were unthankful unto him that prepared life for them. You realize, these people, we go about our lives even when we were in the world. I can speak for myself. Taking the Most High for granted, not giving him thanks or anything, just going about as if this world is yours. Yep. And you determine everything, and whatever happens to you, it's because of your doing. Yes. Despising the Most High. Yes. This is the reason why he is against us and will be against us. And those of us among us who are believers, who are so-called believers, who do not change, are not transformed. As the Messiah says, the wind bloweth where it wishes. So the rock can take us and lead us. Those of us who are not transformed and who are not walking in emunah or faith, then our lot will be with the unrighteous, our lot will be with the wicked. So let's continue with why Great Tribulation, because we have to know the why to get the understanding. Jeremiah 30, verses 1 to 24. The time of Jacob's trouble will tell us exactly why Jacob is going through the trouble and why the world is going through the trouble. Notice at the top, restoration for Israel and Yehudah. What's going to happen before Israel and Yehudah are restored? Verse 1.
The word came to Jeremiah from Yahuwah
hold
saying,
on, please. And let me just say that you have some people who are teaching that we're not going to go through any trouble. We're not going to go through any trouble. We're just going to be this because we have gone through 400 years. They say that we are just going to be gathered. That is not so. There's always a time of Jacob's trouble right before Jacob is delivered. And that is prophesied for the end time. Read, please.
Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 1. The word that came to Jeremiah from Yahuwah saying, Thus speaketh Yahuwah Allah of Israel, saying, Write thee all the words that I have spoken unto thee in a book. For lo, the days come, saith Yahuwah, that I will bring again the captivity of my people Israel and Judah, saith Yahuwah. and I will cause them to return to the land that I gave to their fathers, and they shall possess it.
All right, so the Great Tribulation is a part of this. Israel and Yehuda were not gathered again after they split under Rehoboam and Jeroboam. So this has not happened before. This is prophesied, the dry bones coming together again in the book of Ezekiel chapter 37. This is prophesied to happen again in the end time, and great tribulation will happen before, like travail upon a woman with child. So let's continue.
All right. And these are the words that Yahuwah spake concerning Israel and concerning Judah. For thus saith Yahuwah, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. Ask ye now, and see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins, as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness.
All right, so his people are going to be going through a time of trouble as travail upon a woman with child. So the men are going to be in dire straits, as they say. Continue.
Now another thing, just to add on,
Yes.
a question we need to ask about verse 6 is, why does it say the men? The men shall
Yes.
be in great trouble. Why would they travel as a woman? And it says a lot because they realize the responsibility on them, the authority responsibility that has been laid on their shoulders, in their arm, and they representing the head and not the neck. So at that time, when Yahuwah's trouble starts, the tribulation starts, many men are going to realize, oh my goodness, I have not stood in the gap as a leader and as the authority figure to lead in righteousness. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. Verse 7.
Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it.
All right, so that's why we say it's a time of great tribulation. What did we emphasize before? That the Messiah said that has never happened before and never again will. Okay? So it says there is none like it.
Yes.
All right?
Yep.
Continue. It is a time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Verse 8.
For it shall come to pass in that day, saith Yahuwah of hosts, that I will break his yoke from off thy neck and will burst thy bones, and strangers shall no more serve themselves of him.
All right. So go back now to Babylon. At the time of Babylon, how did the Most High break the yoke of Babylon? He broke the yoke of Babylon by telling his people to flee out of the midst of Babylon. And when they fled out of the midst of Babylon, the Medes and the Persians came in and destroyed Babylon. That's how his people were saved out of Babylon. And it is prophesied once again that Babylon will be destroyed. His people will be told to leave Babylon, and he will be bringing up the nations of the north, the Medes, the Elamites, and I forget the other family, who will be coming to destroy Babylon once again. Continue.
All right. But they shall serve Yahuwah their Aloha, and David their king, whom I will raise up unto them. 10. Therefore fear thou not, O my servant Jacob, saith Yahuwah, neither be dismayed, O Israel, for lo, I will save thee from afar, and thy seed from the land of their captivity. And Jacob shall return, and shall be in rest, and be quiet, and none shall make him afraid.
All right. So we see the great tribulation. It's about Yasharal. It's about the deliverance of his people in the end time, the prophesied gathering together of the two sticks the stick of Ephraim or Joseph or the house of Israel, and the stick of Yehuda. Continue.
Verse 11, right?
Yes.
For I am with thee, saith Yahuwah, to save thee. Though I make a full end of all nations whither I have scattered thee, yet will I not make a full end of thee, but I will correct thee in measure, and will not leave thee altogether unpunished.
All right. So another reason here for the great tribulation, to make an full end of all the nations where we were scattered. So wherever we are scattered, he's going to make a full end of it. And he's going to make a full end of it by spanking those in the cities along the coast. He is going to spank the midst of Babylon. But he will not make a full end of thee, but he will correct us in measure. And how will he correct us? He will take us from among the heathen, and like an eagle fluttereth over her chicks. She will lead us, and she will guide us, and she will protect us, and she will correct us when we are set apart out of the midst of Babylon. Verse 12.
For thus saith Yahuwah, thy bruise is incurable, and thy wound is grievous. There is none to plead thy cause, that thou mayest be bound up. Thou hast no healing medicines. All thy lovers have forgotten thee. They seek thee not, for I have wounded thee with the wound of an enemy, with the chastisement of a cruel one, for the multitude of thine iniquity, because thy sins were increased.
All right, so hear this now. Another reason for great tribulation is the sins of our fathers and our sins, but more so the sins of our fathers that have been climaxed upon us. So all the sins that our forefathers committed. That is why when we pray for the sins of our fathers, as Daniel did and as the other prophets did. Pray for the sins of our fathers, because it is the sins of our fathers that are upon us. What did he say in Isaiah 14:21? Prepare slaughter for the children, for the iniquity of their fathers. So all of these sins now are on this end time generation, loaded up on this generation. So this is why we're going to have this kind of crushing end time great tribulation. Because thy sins were increased, I have done this to thee. Verse 16.
Therefore all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity, and they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey.
All right, so another reason for great tribulation: destroy and bring down all the people who hated us or disliked us, who were against us, who oppressed us. Every one of them shall go where? Into captivity. We tell people that the 1,000-year reign is the payback reign. It is the payback for what they have done to us for the 400 years. So all these Gentiles who are the children of the oppressors, who come and reject and ignore the children of Yasharal, when we speak to them about anything to do with Yasharal or about the Gentiles, they throw up scriptures like John 3:16 and neither Jew nor Gentiles, ignoring the payback. Yeah. Every one of them shall go into captivity. That is why in Isaiah 14:2, it tells us that the strangers joined with them, and tells us that Jacob shall possess them for servants and handmaids. This is the 1,000-year payback. You had us for 400. You are going to get 2.5 times the amount of captivity. That's just what it is. All right?
Yeah.
Verse 17.
And it's just pure ignorance. You know, when they say that, I mean...
You're low.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now? Is it better?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm saying it's shocking how they just easily quote John 3:16 and not really consider what it's really saying.
Yeah.
You know, and when they see the whosoever, it sounds like the whole world, anyone in the world. But it's actually referring to Yasharal and the children of Israel. All right.
Okay.
Jeremiah 30, verse 17. For I will restore health unto thee, and I will heal thee of thy wounds, saith Yahuwah, because they called thee an outcast, saying, This is Zion, whom no man seeketh after.
So they rejected us and they mock us. All right. So the Most High is saying, okay, I'm going to restore them. 18.
Thus saith Yahuwah, Behold, I will bring again the captivity of Jacob's tents, and have mercy on his dwelling places. And the city shall be builded upon her own heap, and the place shall remain after the manner thereof.
So this is the restoration. After everything is done, then we reach now to the restoration. This is a good part. This is a happy part after the tribulation. And let's get into some some good news here. Continue.
And out of them shall proceed thanksgiving and the voice of them that make merry. And I will multiply them, and they shall not be few. I will also glorify them, and they shall not be small.
20.
Their children also shall be as aforetime, and their congregation shall be established before me. And I will punish all that oppress them.
All right. You hear this again?
Yeah.
All
I will
right.
punish all that oppress them.
Like an eagle spreadeth her wings over her children.
Yeah.
That's how he's going to treat his people after the captivity is over. Continue.
And their nobles shall be of themselves, and their governors shall proceed from the midst of them. And I
All right,
will
stop
cause...
there. Stop there. This now is very important. Their nobles shall be of themselves. Now, throughout this world, who are the nobles and the governors today of our people? Those among whom they are scattered, right?
Yes.
So us here in the West, even if you're not living in the United States, the real nobles are the president of the United States, etc.
Yeah.
The queen. Yeah, these are the people who rule our people. But the Most High is going to destroy them, and we shall be the rulers, the nobles of our people. Continue.
And their nobles shall be of themselves, and their governor shall proceed from the midst of them. And I will cause him to draw near, and he shall approach unto me. For who is this that engaged his heart to approach unto me, saith Yahuwah?
So this is a very good question here. No, a lot of people ignore this verse. If you are not of the Most High, if you are not his children, how can you engage your heart to approach to him? All right? He's telling you that when he restores you, then the nobles and the governors can approach him. Verse 22.
And ye shall be my people, and I will be your Alua.
All right, so here verse 23 now, telling you about the tribulation. Verse 23.
All right. Behold, the whirlwind of Yahuwah goeth forth with fury, continuing whirlwind. It shall fall with pain upon the head of the wicked.
Continue.
The fierce anger of Yahuwah shall not return until he have done it, and until he have performed the intents of his heart. And in the latter days ye shall consider it.
In when?
In the latter days.
We are in the latter days. In the latter days, ye shall consider it. So people saying this time of Jacob's trouble, oh, we have gone through it before, 2 or 400 years. No. It is the time of the restoration of the house of Israel and the house of Jacob, which has not happened as yet.
Yeah.
We just went through the whys of the great tribulation. Because of the hearts of the people, because his people need to be brought back together, because of the pride, because the people have rejected his laws, because they have persecuted his people, all of those reasons why we have great tribulation. Now, another very question. Remember the topic, the believers at the time of great tribulation? Now, how many shall be saved? That is the next big question. And we're going to spend a few verses on it. Very important. How many shall be saved? Because many of us, we believe that all we need to qualify, the Christians believe that all they need to do is qualify is to be a Christian. Some of us believe that as long as we are Israelites. Some of us believe that as long as you keep the Sabbath. A whole lot of different reasons where people believe that you shall be saved. But how many shall be saved? Very important for us to get the understanding of this. For that, we go to 2 Ezra 9, verse 13. So Ezra was speaking to the angel and asking the angel some questions. And when Ezra learned about what was going to happen to the sinners among his people, he was very, very concerned, very sad. So the angel responded and said in verse 13,
And therefore, be thou not curious how the ungodly shall be punished, and where but inquire.
No. And therefore be thou not curious how the unholy shall be punished and when, but inquire how the righteous shall be saved, whose the world is and for whom the world is created.
Bro, check your band. Your bandwidth. I think the
Oh, it's low.
Yeah, it's very low. It's blurry. Yeah.
Okay. All right. You're seeing it on YouTube? All right, go. Continue, please.
All right. Verse 14. Then answered I and said, I have said before, and now do speak, and will speak it also hereafter, that there be many more of them which perish than of them which shall be saved.
There be many more of them which perish than of them which shall be saved. And we should all know that. A little common sense should tell us that. But how much more will perish than those who will be saved? Verse 16.
Like as a wave is greater than a drop.
Like what?
As a wave is greater than a drop. That's a huge difference.
That's a huge, huge difference. That's the difference between how many will perish and how much will be saved. Like as a wave is greater than a drop.
Wow.
2 Ezra 8, 1-3.
Sure.
Read, please.
And he answered me, saying, The Most High hath made this world for many, but the world to come for few.
For?
Few.
This is the angel telling Ezra. So when we are thinking about how many shall be saved, verse 2.
I will tell thee a similitude, Esdras, as when thou askest the earth, it shall say unto thee, that is giveth much mold, whereof bro, please try and read that one. I can't see that one, sorry.
That it giveth much mold, whereof earthen vessels are made. Grandma, use the phone. But little dust, that gold cometh off. Even so is the course of this present world. Even so is the course of this present world. There be many created, but few shall be saved. There be many created, but few shall be saved. All right? Few shall be saved. And then this very popular verse in Isaiah chapter 10. Read, please.
All right. For though thy people Israel be as the sand of the sea, yet a remnant of them shall return. The consumption decree shall overflow with righteousness.
A remnant. So the remnant is only a few. Only a few. And Messiah told us, Matthew 22, 1 to 14. We're going to look at two parables. Matthew 22, 1 to 14. We're going to look at a couple of parables that tell us. Is 1 to 14, yes. Read, please.
Matthew chapter 22, verse 1. And Yahusha answered and spake unto them again by parables and said, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a king, which made a marriage for his son.
A certain king.
A certain
Yeah.
king, all right?
Continue.
Verse 3. And sent forth his servants to call them that were bidden to the wedding, and they would not come. Again, he sent forth other servants, saying, tell them which are bidden, behold, I have prepared my dinner.
Dinner.
Sorry, my dinner.
My oxen and my fatlings, and killed all things.
Yeah.
And my fatlings are killed, and all things are ready. Come unto the marriage. Now, this, of course, is the children of Yasharal. It is the children of the kingdom. Israelites. The Most High is actually bidding them to come to the marriage of his lamb. Okay? He's bidding believers to follow his son. Verse 5.
All right, verse 5. But they made light of it and went their ways, one to his farm, another to his merchandise.
So they were called and actually called to follow Yahusha, but they made light of it.
Yeah.
Verse 6.
And the remnant took his servants and entreated them spitefully and slew them.
All right, the apostles and the disciples, they were killed. Verse 7.
But when the king heard thereof, he was wroth, and he sent forth his armies and destroyed those murderers and burned up their city.
All right, so this was 70 AD when the Most High allowed them to destroy Jerusalem and burnt up the city. And this was when the Messiah had prophesied unto them that when you see Jerusalem surrounded, then flee to the mountains. Continue, verse 8.
Then saith he to his servants, the wedding is ready, but they which were bidden were not worthy.
All right, so the children of the kingdom were not ready because they had rejected Hamashiach. Verse 9.
Go ye therefore into the highways, and as many as ye shall find, bid to the marriage.
So let the good news be preached throughout all the world. I remember earlier we had read that when this good news of the kingdom or gospel of the kingdom shall be preached to the whole world, and then shall the end come. So they went out to the highways and they preached the good news of the kingdom to them. Of course, the true good news of the kingdom is now being preached in these last days, because blindness in part had happened to Israel, and false religion had taken over the place, spreading the false gospel throughout the place. But through the use of the internet, the good news of the kingdom is now being able to be preached to people all over the world in a very, very short window of time. So the internet is good and it is bad. It is what has caused us to come together here and cause the true good news to be preached throughout all the world. Verse 10.
So those servants went out into the highways and gathered together all as many as they found, both bad and good. And the wedding
All
was
right.
finished.
Oh, sorry,
I like
sorry.
that.
And the wedding was furnished with guests.
Yes. I
All right, sorry to. Yeah,
I
go
like
ahead.
that one. I'm saying I like that one. Both bad and good.
Yes. Because remember, his people are scattered throughout the world,
Yeah.
and there are Gentiles also who have been called in. So many of the people who have been called in are his people. So also the other side to it is that we have people who are going to come in who are going to say they are believers and believe that they are believers, but their hearts have not been converted. And they remain bad, thinking they are good and having the appearance that we are actually good. But inside, the Most High knows our hearts and knows that we are bad. Verse 11.
It goes back to what we started with. The pride is going to make these people not notice that they are actually not worthy to be in this feast.
Yes.
They're going to think highly of themselves. And that's when the following verse is going to do justice to
Yes. And that is where, and that is a danger
pride.
of the letter of the law. I keep the feast. I do this, I do that. Yes? That is the danger of it. To think that by just doing, it makes you good.
Yeah.
It is not by doing that you're good. That's why the Apostle Paul said they are not justified by the works of the law, but by the hearing of faith. It is your belief, your faith, which transforms you into righteousness, into the righteousness of Yahusha, which converts your soul along with obedience to the Father's commandments. Because when you are transformed, you are led into righteousness, which is actually doing the law itself. All right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Verse 11.
And when the king came in to see the guest, he saw there a man which had not on a wedding garment.
He did not have on his wedding garment. So you see, when everyone is brought together, the good and the bad are going to be there. But when it comes for the time of separation, verse 12.
And he saith unto him, Friend, how camest thou in hither not having a wedding garment? And he was speechless. Then
And
said
by the
king,
way, the wedding garment refers to your righteousness.
Yeah, righteousness. Blessed
All
are
right.
they that wash their robes. Yes.
So if we go to the precept about is it Sardis,
Yeah.
whose garments are white. Yeah, realize that the white is the righteousness. And I think another one that says that was the righteousness of the saints. I don't have the precepts right now. Would take too much time, but this speaks of their righteousness. Continue.
All right. Then said the king to the servants, Bind him hand and foot, and take him away, and cast him into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth.
Continue.
For many are called, but few are chosen.
Many are called, but what?
Few are chosen.
So when we are teaching here, people might believe that we put too much emphasis on pushing on righteousness and, we should actually be speaking things more nicely. No, this is a competition. This is like a competition. It is a race. And so we have to point out every single thing to make sure that we are among the few who are chosen. Okay?
Yeah.
It is a few who will be chosen. Matthew 8, 5 to 12. Another parable again. We just want to get it in our mindset. So there are people who just like, oh, we don't need to do that. We don't need to this. We don't need to that. Read, please.
And when Yahusha entered into Capernaum, there came unto him a centurion, beseeching him, and saying, Master, my servant lieth at home, sick of palsy, and grievously tormented. And Yahusha saith unto him, I will come and heal him. And the centurion answered and said, Master, I am not worthy that thou shouldest come under my roof, but speak the word only, and my servant shall be healed.
Continue.
Verse 9, For I am a man under authority, having soldiers under me, and I say to this man, Go, and he goeth, and to another, Come, and he cometh, and to my servant, Do this, and he doeth it.
10.
When Yahusha heard it, he marveled, and said to them that followed, Verily I say unto you, I have not found so great faith, no, not in Israel.
Not in Yasharal.
Yeah.
This is a man who is not an Israelite and showing so great faith. Verse 11.
And I say unto you, that many shall come from the east and west, and shall sit down with Abraham and Isaac and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven. But the children of the kingdom shall be cast out into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth.
All right. Go to verse 13.
And Yahusha answered unto the centurion, Go thy way, and as thou hast believed, so be it done unto thee. And the servant was healed in the selfsame hour.
All right. So here's this. Non-Israelite showing more faith than in Israel. And he's saying, many shall come from the east and west. Many Gentiles shall come in and sit with Abraham and Isaac and Jacob in the kingdom of Shemaim. But the children of the kingdom, the Israelites, shall be cast out into outer darkness. Being an Israelite does not qualify you for the kingdom. It's something we need to remind people. All right? Keeping the commandments alone does not qualify you. It is emunah, great emunah. And so that is why in the end, the Most High is going to try his people. He's going to try them through emunah. He's saying, flee out of the midst of Babylon and save every man his soul. That is emunah. Are you going to be willing to leave your safe haven? Are you going to be willing to leave your homes, this Babylonian existence, this organized Babylonian existence, and flee? That is the emunah that is going to test people in the end. All right? So now we looked at what, when, and why great tribulation and how many shall be saved. We are going to look at the Jew JEW world order. This JEW world order that we are in the Bible, is actually in the Bible. The scriptures, you cannot understand the scriptures unless you keep abreast with what the people are doing in the world. The scriptures will be lifeless if it cannot match up to what is happening in the world. There are some people who believe you must just speak scripture and leave the world alone. That is madness. Utter madness. Scriptures must match up with what is happening in the world, because the scriptures has been given to us as a people, as a guide to overcome what is happening in the world. The wicked have been given the world, and if you do not keep up abreast with the wicked, matching up what the wicked are doing with scripture, then the power of the scripture will not be there. You will not have the emunah, because the scripture will just be empty words which connect to nothing. So to build our emunah, that is when we connect what these people are doing with the scriptures. And so the scriptures smartly, it was only prepared while preparing this, I actually came upon this. The scriptures smartly tell us about the JEW world order, because there are many, many people in this world who are speaking about the JEW world order. They are saying that this new world order is in the background being manipulated by the JEW. In fact, there was a man that had a company, started a company that was doing well, and he sent a few letters to some important people that this CV19 thing was organized by the JEW, and in order to kill millions of people in order to set up their JEW world order. And I was reading about him, and he had to resign from the company, and his company distanced themselves from him and said they had nothing, they were not connected with what he said, and that they were totally against anti-Semitism, because, you know, these people hide behind that word, anti-Semitism. Everything you say to criticize them, you're an anti-Semite. You're an anti-Semite. And so that protects them. In everything that they do, they are validated because you cannot criticize them. That is why I have to put the JEW world order. I can't even put up the name up there, because you cannot say anything against them, or they will come down and destroy you. And we looked at these people earlier in a teaching we did about the two women of Zechariah 5, the synagogue of Satan and the seat of Satan. Seat of Satan being the Christian-led papacy, and the synagogue of Satan being the JEW. So the JEW world order and their part in the Great Tribulation is in the scriptures, and that's what we are going to look at now. Some believers will go through fire and be perfected through great jubilation. We call it great JEW-bilation, not tribulation. And to show the part that they play in it. So the topic, the believers at the time of great tribulation, some believers will go through fire and be perfected through great jubilation, tribulation. And that is Isaiah 2, verses 8 to 11. Revelation 2, 8 to 11. You notice that for the past few lessons, we have been going a lot into the assemblies. It's not by purpose. Most has just led me there to get the understanding of these. And someone had commented on one of the videos on the Kazakh Aliyahu channel and asked to go into the churches. And here we see that we are being led into the churches without even having to go there. Anyway, verse 8, read please.
And unto the angel of the church of Smyrna write, these things saith the first and the last, which was dead and is alive. I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan.
Let me tell you something here. The Most High is, if you read this verse 9, you would think that this is out of place. Look, I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. And then he just throws in, I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. And then there is nothing else referred to about these Jews who say they are not. Again, in this thing. But what the Most High is doing here through Yahushua HaMashiach, through Yahukanan, through the angel, through Yahukanan, is telling us that all of this is going to be as a result of these who say they are Jews and are not. They are the ones who are going to cause it. Let's continue.
Yes.
I know thy works. So those who are going to go into tribulation, it's not only the imperfect who are going to go through this tribulation. I know thy works and tribulation and poverty. So they have good works. All right? Verse to verse 10.
Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. But be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life.
All right. He shall cast some of you into prison, that he may be tried, and he shall have tribulation. How long?
10 days.
10 days. So tribulation here being paired with them which say they are Jews and are not. These are they who are going to cause the tribulation. This is the JEW world order. Be thou faithful unto death. What does this mean? What does this mean, Shamuel?
You must deny yourself, and to be able to face the calamities or the tribulations that they will bring on your way.
But in other words, you have to be willing to die.
To lay down our lives, yeah.
So some people believe that the 10 days means you will have 10 days and then you will get out of jail free. It's faithful unto death.
Yeah.
Many of them will die.
And the
because, pardon?
No, I was just saying, and the precept to that will be, and they love to know their lives even unto death.
Ah, that's it. And another precept would be these are they who went through great tribulation and washed their blood in their garments in the blood of the Lamb.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I will give thee a crown of life. All right?
Yes.
So, he that hath an ear to hear, let him hear what the rock saith unto the assemblies. He that overcometh shall not be hurt of the second death. So, we're going to show, we're just getting part 2 of these who say they are not, them which say they are, and the tribulation. We're going to see the connection again with them again, how the Most High has skillfully inserted this to give us the hint that these are the people who are controlling this great, the world order that is causing the tribulation that is upon the earth. Revelation 6, 9 to 11. Revelation 6, 9 to 11. Revelation 6, 9 to 11. Read, please.
And when he had opened the 5th seal, I saw under the altar the souls of them that were slain for the word of Allure, and for the testimony which they held. And they cried with a loud voice, saying, How long, O Yahuwah, holy and true, dost thou not judge and avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth?
All right. Continue.
And white robes were given unto every one of them, and it was said unto them that they should rest yet for a little season, until their fellow servants also and their brethren that should be killed as they were should be should be fulfilled. Wow.
These are those who went to this thing that we just read a while ago.
Yeah.
All right, be faithful unto death,
Yeah.
and I will give you a crown
Of life.
of life.
Literally. It's literal, yes. I know someone is thinking, is it literal? Yes, it's literal. That's
It's
what it
literal.
is.
That should be killed as they were. So in the end, there are those that should be killed. That's it. All right. So where were we again? Revelation 20, verses 1 to 6. Kind of rubbing it in that it is actually literal. 1 to 6. Read, please.
And I saw an angel come down from Shamahin, having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years, and cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled. And after that, she must be loosed a little season.
So we just did that to show that this is the end time it is speaking about.
Yeah.
Okay, so verse 4.
And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them. And they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahusha, and for the word of Allure, which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands, and they lived and reigned with Mashiach 1,000 years.
All right, so these are these. Let's go there. Where were we? Revelation 2:11. These are these. Read 10 again, please.
Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life.
These are these. They were killed. Okay?
Yes.
So a lot of the set apart, so a lot of the believers are going to be killed. Okay?
Yeah.
So we can be perfected through death. This is a principle that's why he says, be faithful unto death. That is when you will overcome death and when you will be perfected through death. 1 Corinthians 5, 1 to 5. Read, please.
It is reported commonly that there is fornication among you, and such fornication as is not so much as named among the Gentiles, that one should have his father's wife. And ye are puffed up, and have not rather mourned, that he that hath done this deed might be taken away from among you. For I verily, as absent in body but present in spirit, have judged already, as though I were present, concerning him that hath so done this deed. In the name of our Master Yahushua HaMashiach, when ye are gathered together, and my spirit with the power of our Master Yahushua HaMashiach, to deliver such an one unto Satan for the destruction of the flesh, that the spirit may be saved in the day of of Master Yahusha.
All right, so this is what we are getting at. We said all of that to get to this. If the flesh is destroyed, the ruach may be saved. So that is why many believers will be put to death for the destruction of the flesh, so that their ruach can be saved. Romans 6:3. Just want to get in this principle so we understand why believers have to die? Why believers have to die? And if you're a believer and death comes upon you and you panic and you've shown no faith, then you would have gained no benefit from your death. That's what you have to do. If death comes upon us, we have to take it in emunah. And that's why it is reported that when the apostles died, all of them welcomed death. And many of them converted their captors. When their captors see how much they welcomed death, they actually were converted into their belief. Verse 3.
Know ye not that so many of us were baptized into Yahushua Mashiach? Sorry, let me start again. Know ye not that so many of us, as were baptized into Yahushua Mashiach, were baptized into his death?
All right, so this is the purpose of baptism. Baptism is a death. That's what it is. Death of the old man. Death of Hamashiach. So we come and restart anew. 4.
Therefore we are buried with him by baptism into death, that like us, Mashiach was raised up from the dead by the glory of the Father. Even so, we also should walk in newness of life.
In newness of life. Well, many of us are not walking in newness of life. So this is a spiritual death that is akin to a physical death and rebirth. But many of us will not be awakened, will not walk in newness of life. So many of us will actually have to be put to death in order for us to be perfected. Verse 5.
For if we have been planted together in the likeness of his death, we shall be also in the likeness of his resurrection.
Continue.
Knowing this, that our old man is crucified with him, that the body of sin might be destroyed, that henceforth we should not serve sin.
You see that?
Yes.
We are impaled with him that the body of sin might be destroyed. So it's a destruction of the flesh so that the ruach or the spirit can be saved. So we henceforth we do not serve sin. So if at the time of death, the body of sin is destroyed and we continue in emunah, in faith, then we will be perfected. Verse 7 says,
For he that is dead is freed from sin.
He that is dead is freed from sin. So that is why when believers die, they are freed from sin. They are perfected. Because each one of us here today, we go through different things daily, different challenges. And many of us are not freed from a lot of things that we should be freed from. So for us to meet the Messiah when he returns, we have to get rid of all the things that are holding us down in sin. Okay?
Yeah.
Verse 8.
Now, if we be dead with Mashiach, we believe that we shall also live with him.
So this is it now. When in the end times, we go through the tribulation and we are put to death and we die with Mashiach, which means if death comes upon us and these people threaten us, okay, all right, if you do not take this thing in your body, then you're going to die. What are you going to do? Are we going to be like those people who took this thing in their arm and say, oh, I have to travel. Oh, I have to work. Oh, I have to do this. So I'll take it. You have to be faithful unto death. So when you refuse to take it and they show you the guillotine and they say, well, if you don't take it, you see that man? And they go, blam, and chop off the head of that man. That's you coming up next if you don't take this thing. What are you going to do? Be faithful unto
death.
Death. and then you will die with Hamashiach. Why? Because Hamashiach died on the stake without compromising, without
Now,
begging, without remorse. Right, bro?
yes, I was also going to add on to say, now the faithfulness that we're talking about, it says, be faithful all the way where? Unto death.
Unto death.
And I think last week sometime, I think I mentioned something like that, whereby I said the most important thing is to ensure that you are obeying the word of the Most High at all times. So when the word says flee, what do? You flee.
Yes.
So should you meet death on the way, what has happened? You have shown great emunah, you have shown great faith, and so should you die, would it be required of you for disobedience or for faithfulness? This is
Faithfulness.
exactly what we are talking about. You can't
Yes.
say I want to stay in Babylon and then you die and then you say I have great faith. How have you demonstrated this? So our faithfulness should be all the way following Yahuwah, being led by the Ruach to anywhere, everywhere, whatever time, whatever second, hour, until he decides, okay, now is the time to come home. Then you know you have served and you have served faithfully, which is required in every steward.
Because emunah, or faith, without works is
Dead.
dead. So I see people responding to like our videos on the Kazakh Aliyahu channel, and they tell us like the last person said, "Oh, Yahuwah got this," trying to refute totally the scriptures that tell us to flee. That all things like where can we flee to? Where can we this? Where can we that? Whatever this, and it's like what they believe in is they stay and the Most High delivers them. No, he told you to flee.
Yeah.
Now, if you sit there and not flee as he told us, then that is not faith. That is rebellion. It is rebellion because he told you what to do and you are saying, no, I am not going to do it. You are going to come and do it for me. No, that is rebellion.
Bro, you notice another thing as well.
Yeah.
It says that, and she waged war to the remnant of her seed. Where was the war waged?
I'm going to that. Don't jump so fast.
All right, okay.
We're gonna get there. All right.
Yeah.
Verse 9.
Knowing that Mashiach being raised from the dead dieth no more. Death has no more dominion over him.
Continue.
For in that he died unto sin once, but in that he liveth unto allure. Likewise, reckon ye also yourselves to be dead indeed unto sin, but alive unto allure through Yahushua HaMashiach our Master.
All right, so that is actually it. Be dead unto sin. So when you are faithful unto death, then you become dead unto sin, and then you will be alive unto allure through Yahushua HaMashiach our Master. That should be enough. You can read the rest, but just showing about the principle of death perfecting us. All right?
So Yahushua was faithful all the way. There is no point where he tried to reason out the word of the Most High to say,
Yes.
but Father, this doesn't make sense. But,
yes.
but I know you can do it. You've shown me great power, so I can stay here. Though you are telling me to go there, I will stay here because I know you will rescue me, because you are capable. I've seen you do it.
Yes.
He followed the Father all the way unto death, as Shaul is saying here in this book.
All the way. Okay. Now, we looked at the JEW world order. And we said that the Bible actually tells us that they are the ones who are causing this world order. Now, this part 2 of it is actually very shocking. This also came across to me as well when I was doing this. And We have been speaking about women, and we have been hated and getting a lot of flack about when we speak about women. Now, we do not overemphasize things about women, etc., unless it comes up to us in the scriptures. And, we get this constant backlash about women in subjection. And I was actually planning, that is my plan to be my next video on the Kazakh Aliyahu channel, and about women being in subjection. Because the Most High just brings the words, sometimes they come and I say, he gave me about the rapture. And then figuring out, then the next thing is women in subjection, and then figuring out where did they come in. But now I see what is happening, that both the Kazakh Aliyahu channel and this Just the Word channel, the Most High is actually molding everything together and to give more and more understanding. So the woman in subjection is brought now to a higher level through this message to the assemblies. We are speaking about the believers at the time of great tribulation. And we're going to make a bold statement here. Those believers, listen to me very carefully. Whatever you're doing, listen to this. Those believers who allow themselves to be taught by women, to be led by women, are going to be punished with great tribulation. Not only punished, they're going to be destroyed. Very, very serious, but let's look at the scriptures. Isaiah 2, let's begin at 18 to 20. We're going to go into detail with this because it's something that we must understand, because most of the world, if you go on YouTube, most of the people who are teaching there, for what I see, I don't know what comes up in your feed, but somehow most of them are women. Hardly any male person has a channel teaching. And it has always baffled me. And I say, why so many women? On Twitter, women just keep coming up in my feed as though, where are the men? It's just woman, 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 woman. So we're going to go through this assembly and we are going to see. We are going to see Isaiah 2. Let's start at 18 to 20. Revelation 2, 18 to 20. We have nothing against women, but it's just what the scripture says. What happens is that we have been brought up in a Babylonian society that is totally different from the ways of our people. Now we are being taught the ways of our people. We are being restored back to Adam, where Adam is the leader and the woman supports the man. Revelation 2:18. Read, please.
And unto the angel of the church of Thyatira, write.
Of the assembly in Thyatira, or the congregation in Thyatira.
All right. These things saith the son of Alua, who hath his eyes like unto a flame of fire, and his feet are like fine brass. I know thy works and charity, and service, and faith, and thy patience, and thy works, and the last to be more than the first.
So you see this? No matter how much you are walking in perfection, there are certain little things. There are certain little things that we must have. And certain little things, if they are present, it throws it all away. Notice, I know thy works, and charity, and service, and emunah, and patience, and thy works, and the works to be more than the first. In other words, your works are so great.
Yeah.
Your works are so great and you have everything necessary. But he still has a few things against us. A few things. Not even one, a few. Even though we appear to be walking in perfection. Verse 20.
Notwithstanding, I have a few things against thee, because thou sufferest that woman Jezebel, which calleth herself a prophetess, to teach and to seduce my servants to commit fornication, and to eat things sacrificed unto idols.
You see this? This verse? We are going to rest in this verse and we're going to dig into it and see and get the truth out of this verse. All right? So we know Jezebel, the woman, that woman, Jezebel. Let me first state, there are many women on the internet now calling themselves prophetess. And doing what, Shamuel?
They are teaching.
They are teaching, calling themselves prophetess. How do they call themselves prophetess? They go to Joel 2. Young men shall, young men and young women
Shall dream dreams.
and the young and maidens shall probably, I have it to look at next, but I don't remember it out of my head. And it says the woman shall prophesy. So they take the excuse of prophesy, and we're going to look at the meaning of prophesy and compare it with teaching as an excuse to teach. No, whenever women are inclined that way, it's the spirit of Jezebel that comes up in them. Most of the women that you'll find teaching, like Jezebel, you'll see them painting somewhere on their face. Or
drawing
their hair,
focus.
something about their hair or something. It's a ruach. If a woman cannot subject herself, then the ruach of Jezebel is going to take charge. Now, there is even a certain woman that don't want to call any names, don't want to be like those people who are calling names. But there's a certain woman calls herself a prophetess, same principle. And when she started out, I was listening to her, she said specifically that the Most High told her that she must not interpret her prophecies. She should just come and present them. So she started doing that. And she would check herself and say, well, let me say no more, because I was told not to interpret my prophecies. The Most High has set apart people out there who can interpret them for me. After that, time goes by, this woman started getting very, very popular, to the point where at 60,000 subscribers, it was about 60,000 she had reached. And people started saying her subscribers rate was high. And she stopped showing her subscribers. And she has grown phenomenally. And with her growth, she started teaching. And certain of our teachings, what I have seen from the little that I know, to be errors. And she has people eating out of her hands, as they say. But not only that, she has also transformed. And she has this lip lining, a black lip lining now. And her lip shiny, so that even when I go to look at her videos, it just turns me off. Her lip very, very shine. And I'm saying, and before I made several attempts to her, I told her not to teach. I said, you are called as a prophetess, prophesy, do not teach. And some of the errors that she made, I wrote and tried to correct her. And she does not respond to me. So when I saw this, it was the same thing that comes to mind. When a woman having the spirit of prophecy moves to teaching, then the ruach of Jezebel is going to take charge. So let's look at these words, which calleth herself a prophetess. Oh, no, read it over again, please, Shamuel. No, we're going to read it over a couple times. So, yeah.
All right. Notwithstanding, I have
No.
few.
No. We are at 20. We're not going to move from 20. We're going to dig into 20.
All right.
So the meaning of Jezebel. Revelation 2:20. It's right there. It's going to be there for a while because it says so much we have to dig into it. So Jezebel is from the Greek Jezabel of Hebrew origin. Jezabel, that is Jezebel, a Tyrian woman used as a synonym of a termagant or false teacher. You see that, bro? Shamuel?
Yes, brother.
Yeah. So Jezebel is synonymous with a false teacher.
Yes.
So when the prophetess starts to teach and the spirit of Jezebel comes in, the spirit of Jezebel is going to lead that woman to teach fallacy.
Wow.
All right. Just want to let that sink in. Go back here, which call herself a prophetess. So another thing about this, look at the top, which calleth herself a prophetess to teach and to seduce my servant. So two things here.
To commit fornication.
This woman, which calleth herself a prophetess, to teach. So what it's saying here, a prophetess must not teach. You must not allow a prophetess to teach. Anyway, let's go to prophetess, the meaning of prophetess.
All right.
Prophetess is from the Greek prophetess, a female foreteller or an inspired woman. Prophetess. So a woman who is a prophetess will be able to foretell through dreams or vision, is going to be able to foretell the future, or will be inspired by the Most High to speak that which the Most High has inspired her to speak. So the Most High will not inspire a woman to teach, because it is forbidden for a woman to teach. So the woman will be inspired, because one of the meanings of the prophesy is also to write songs and poems, whatever, under inspiration. But being a prophetess does not mean that you will be instructing people. That's the difference. So we must know the difference between prophesying and teaching, because in Joel 2:28, we have, and it shall come to pass afterward that I will pour out my ruach upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy. Your old men shall dream dreams, your young men shall see visions. Your sons and your daughters shall prophesy. It did not say your sons and your daughters shall teach. That comes to us from Christianity. Prophesying is different from teaching. So, no. Let me see which one first. Let me go back to this one. No. So let's look at the meaning of teach. I don't know where that came from. Let me get this. No. Let me look at the meaning of inspired first, because prophetess means an inspired woman. Yeah, so let me look at the meaning of inspired. Inspired, coming from the dictionary, because word inspired is not in the in the Bible, a divine influence or action on a person believed to qualify him or her to receive and communicate sacred revelation. So it is sacred revelation. It is not sacred teaching. It is what the Most High has revealed to you through the Ruach, not teaching. Because the Most High says when he speaks to a prophet, he speaks to them through what? Through dreams or visions.
Yeah.
Through dreams or visions. So a prophetess will be given dreams or visions. Getting a dream or a vision and relaying it to someone is different from taking people and getting scriptures and now starting to instruct people about what the scripture means and what it is saying. So let us look at the meaning of teach. Because itself, which calls herself a prophetess, to teach. Let's look at the meaning of teach. And you might not be able to see it here. It is, I saw two meanings in Hebrew. Because I look for the Hebrew meanings because the Greek, our people did not speak Greek. We only deal with the Greek because that is all they have left us with. So we have to go back to the Hebrew meaning. Yara, H3384, a primitive root meaning to flow as water, that is to rain, transitively to lay or throw an arrow, that is to shoot, figuratively to point out, as if by aiming the finger. To point out. So you get pointing out scriptures and showing you what scriptures means. That is teaching. That's different from getting a dream or a vision. To teach, archer, cast, direct, to direct someone, different from getting a dream or a vision. To inform, to instruct. To instruct someone is different from telling someone a dream or a vision that you got.
Yes.
To lay, to show, to shoot, to teach, teacher, teaching, through. So we should see the difference by this, but let's look to the other meaning. Lamad, primitive root, properly to goad, that is by implication, to teach. The rod being an oriental incentive. Unaccustomed, diligently, expert, instruct, learn, skillful, teacher, skillful teaching. Do we see the difference?
Yes.
So it's more emphasized when you look at the dictionary meaning of teach. And here are some of the meanings. To cause to know something. And sometimes there's a thin line between prophesying and teaching, because you can prophesy, you can get a revelation from the Most High about someone, and you cause them to know what the Most High is saying. But here is the thing now, to cause to know how. You know what? Cannot compare one? Oh. Yeah. The spirit of Jezebel. Many of our people have the spirit. Someone was saying you cannot compare Jezebel with the people of Yah.
Who I wonder who's saying that and what they mean by what they're saying. Because when Adam and Eve were in the garden, they weren't fallen, were they? They were not fallen. They were righteous, weren't they?
Yeah.
So which people are we speaking to here? And isn't this the same people striving for righteousness? We are not even in a state of righteousness fully yet.
Yes.
We are striving to be righteous. So how can they say we cannot refer the spirit of Jezebel amongst Yah's people here?
Exactly. We have not attained unto perfection.
Yes. So that is also a treacherous spirit. Someone is taking offense. And this is the spirit we are talking about. All right.
Yes.
No one is timid here. We are not timid teachers. We will speak boldly about the word, like we're saying. You either want to hear, because it's not for everybody, it's for they who have a heart, all right? Who, not the stony-hearted people. They that have a heart of flesh, humility. This is not because what is being driven here is to expose the secret works of the devil in the shadows. Satan has
Go
been
ahead.
working in the shadows using many of these snares, these traps. These are snares, all right, that many of us haven't been able to unmask these schemes for centuries. And so she has gotten many through by making them victims. So whenever these things are exposed, the first thing you are going to notice is many are going to take what? Many are going to take
Offense.
the posture of what? Of an attack, rebellion, of hatred. It's okay. That is the spirit we are calling out. It's okay to feel that way. But let us pay attention and listen throughout to understand what the salvation in this is for all the sons and daughters of the Most High. All right,
That
brother.
is a really funny statement because we are not his people until he calls us into his kingdom. And he says, and ye shall be my people, and I shall be your Alua. All right, right now, evil is upon the earth. We are in the world of wickedness. Satan is reigning, and Satan is polluting our people. Many. What did we do earlier? We said, how many will be saved? Many. Most of our people believe that they are the people that end up outside the kingdom. All right, that statement goes against everything that we have shown since morning. So our people will be there thinking that we are okay, thinking we are fine. And at the time, then we'll realize that we were actually not there.
Yes.
All right?
And
So many of us, our people have the ruach of Jezebel. It is a ruach.
Yes. That is
And
it.
and it is heavy. I just go on Twitter. If anyone can just take my phone and look on Twitter. The people are there speaking stridently about the Most High. When you see them, their profile pictures, I'm like, really? I mean, one of them that is most prominent. And I up to yesterday, I say I'm going to unfollow that person. There's a picture there, and the person is nude up to, let me get the meaning of teach. Let me get there. The person is actually nude up to about here.
Yes.
About here, right above the breastline. And they're speaking every day the words of Yahuwah. Some of them, if you see, that is the ruach of Jezebel. Okay?
And the truth is that many of them don't know. And that's why Yahuwah loves them so much, to cause a teacher, a faithful servant to be able to come out, because you see, these are topical issues that Babylon has designed, that whenever you bring it up and it's being spoken by a male gender, it sounds as though it is what? It sounds as though it is animosity and hatred towards women or woman. And that is the spirit of Jezebel that is operating in Babylon. If you have been following many of our teachings, you're going to understand there was a woman in an Ephah, all right, whose temple was built in Shinar. And this thing is wickedness. When I say wickedness, there is a spirit of wickedness that is controlling the leaders of the world, that are allowing the spirit of Jezebel to rule. This is the very same spirit that ruled in the garden, all right? The very same spirit that came to Eve, that said to Eve, that who told you? Is that what the Most High meant when he said do not eat? Is he scared that you can be like him? This is exactly the very same spirit that came, and it draws out women first, because it will use women to do what? To disrupt. It will break the confidence, the authority that is placed over the men. The men become weak, all right? This is how it rules. And so men are scared to speak when the spirit is around, in the name of fearing to be called names. All right, you know the first thing people do, they call you names. They call you that, hi, you are you're a woman hater, you are a woman this, you are that. They will label you. That's the spirit we are talking about. And so what I'm saying is that we are talking about the spirit of Jezebel, and it operates. And you see, if it gets into the assembly, the final assembly in the end, now that is more dangerous, because you have worked so hard to finally be in the truth. Now to allow yourself to be taken by an unforeseen little stain, all right? Because remember, it is required that no spot nor wrinkle is found in us. This is the warning that we are told, to be what? Blameless, without what? Without stain or wrinkle.
Or wrinkle.
This is what we are talking about. So if that is going to be the very thing that you miss, that causes you to miss, and you are privileged to stumble onto this assembly and you hear this word, you need to be patient. If not, you need to understand that you are not being converted, because the first sign to a person that the Spirit is allowing and leading is that Yahweh says in the book of Ezekiel 36:26, it says that, and in that time, what? I will take away what? The stony heart and put in the heart of flesh. So it means the stony heart is still there. The heart of flesh hasn't been placed yet. And that is why you cannot begin to hear in order to repent. So this is what we are talking about. Brother, you can go ahead.
All right. So the question that person, we should ask that person right now is, do any of our women paint their face? Because that is the ruach of Jezebel. Face painting came from Azazel, and Jezebel, that was her hallmark. 2 Kings 9:30. Read, please, bro.
And when Jehu was come to Jezreel, Jezebel heard of it, and she painted her face and tied her head and looked out at a window.
All right. So this is a trademark of our people. If our people continue to do like Jezebel and paint their faces, how can we say that we cannot connect Jezebel to them? All right? Even as believers, and we hear and we know that we are the people of the book. We are set apart. Azazel taught our people about painting faces, etc. And we still come in and paint our faces and be there speaking the words of Alua. Yeah? As long as we do that, then we are in the ruach of Jezebel. It's a ruach, a spirit. All right, so let's get back on track. Meaning of teach. To cause, to know. To accustom to some action or attitude. To cause to know the disagreeable consequences of some action. To guide the studies of. You see, all of those things different from being given a dream or a vision. To impart the knowledge of. To instruct by precept, example, or experience. Yes? Wrong. You cannot be instructing by precept.
Yeah.
To make known and accepted. To conduct instruction regularly in. All of those things. Totally different. Totally different from receiving a divine inspiration as a prophetess.
Yeah.
So one might ask, so why should a woman learn scriptures? Why should a woman learn scriptures? For instructions in righteousness. You learn so that you will be instructed in righteousness. Learning the scriptures is not only to teach. You have to be instructed in the way of righteousness. And we go back to this that thanks to Shamuel, who brought up this one, that it all began with Kwa. And I hope to do the next video about women in subjection. It should be a good one because it brings together a whole lot of different revelations that we have been getting here over time and over the last few days about this. All right? Genesis 3:6. Can you read it, please, Shamuel?
And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof, and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat.
All right, so the descendants of Kwa. Woman was created with certain attributes. And those attributes have not changed. A tree to be desired to make one wise. A woman is attracted to the lust of the flesh, which is food, good for food, the lust of the eyes, it was pleasant to the eyes, and the pride of life, a tree to be desired to make one wise. Pride. No. Women are more susceptible to this than the men. So this is why so for what? So sure, I'm trying to don't interject again. Because this person is saying that this person that I'm speaking about is only wearing Vaseline on their lips. Why do you have to wear Vaseline to make a 20 minutes video? Huh? Why can I make other people make a 20-minute video and they don't need to put Vaseline? Why do the men in those cold countries do their videos for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours? I see some brothers making even 5-hour videos without any Vaseline on their lips. Why does a woman have to put Vaseline on their lips? Oh, let's go.
Brother, I really think you're actually making them feel what they are doing is actually right. Just ignore them. Please continue.
Yeah.
Teaching. All right, please.
Yeah, there are people there who actually as if they worship her.
They don't
She has them.
they don't have a heart. They don't have a heart to listen. That's where that's where it starts. Because
Yeah.
learning starts by listening and doing. All right, and then you can gain the understanding later. That's how it works.
Yeah.
Right? So many, I don't know. Just please, you, because it might throw you off what the point you're trying to establish.
Don't tell me anymore anything along that line. Keep all the questions for later. Write them down as usual because they're gonna throw out everything. All right. So where were we now? So lust of the flesh, good for food. Lust of the eyes, pleasant to the eyes, and the pride of life to make one wise. Now, when we looked at what wise actually means, causatively to make or act circumspect and hence intelligent. So the woman's desire is to make or to be made or act intelligent or to be considered an expert.
Significance. Yeah.
To instruct, to prosper, to deal prudently, to give skillful, to have good success, to teach, to make understanding. This is what Kwa wanted. To have wisdom, to behave self, to consider, make wise, to consider or make wise, to guide wittingly. So the woman has the desire to actually be guiding people and guiding the men. That's the innate trait of the woman that comes from Kwa, and that never changes. So no matter how the woman may think, oh, I really care for you, and that, it is the Ruach of Kwa that is in her. And the whole aim of Hamashiach is to restore mankind back to where Adam was. The second Adam is to restore us to righteousness, to the righteousness of the first Adam before the first Adam fell. So before Adam fell, that is where the Messiah wants to restore us to, where Adam was the man and the woman was his helpmeet.
Yeah.
But today, we live in a world where the women, Babylon has told us that the women are equal to the men. And in some cases, women are given more rights than men, especially in the United States of America. I don't know about anywhere else.
Everywhere in the world, even on this side of the region as well. Everywhere.
Yes. Babylon has usurped the authority. And guess what? We grew up in that usurped authority. So we grew up in the authority that women are either equal or above us, and we get to, and women have grown like that. Now to tell them to tell them that no, this is not so. This is the worst thing that you could say to them. But how can we accept that we are Israelites and we do not want to go back to the ways of our people? How can we want to serve the Most High and we do not want to serve in his righteousness? Okay? So that, let's go. We have another word to look at, and that is to seduce, because it says, thou sufferest that woman Jezebel, which calleth herself a prophetess, to teach and to seduce my servants. And we're going to look at those to commit fornication and to eat things sacrificed unto idol.
It is a very same thing in the Garden of Eden. You see, there is nothing new under the sun.
Nothing new.
What has been, it is that which will be again. The Most High is trying to restore the order back. And you see, Yahuwah, we give him all the praise. It's liberation. This truth, it does really liberate us if we have a heart to listen, because it's exactly the same thing. After Kua ate that fruit, what happened? She turned around and she guided Adam wittingly. Isn't it what she did? She gave it to Adam.
Yes.
Because if indeed the wisdom she got was true and pure, she would have said, no, I have fallen. I'm in a fallen state. I know this is wrong. Adam, don't eat it. Save yourself. But she gave it. She turned around and gave it. That is witten. That is to be cunning. The same knowledge and the same way that the serpent is subtle. The very same way. So the Most High is revealing this to us, not to smash and to bash us. No. This is to liberate the true children. All right? So that we stand in holiness and an outright reverence and fear for him in wait for his salvation. This is what it's about.
All right. Genesis 3:13. Remember the Messiah said the Jezebel seduced them?
Yes.
All right. Read Genesis 3:13, please.
And Yahuwah Allah said unto the woman, what is this that thou hast done? And the woman said, the serpent beguiled me, and I did eat.
So what does beguile mean?
Deceived.
H5377. Remember the Messiah said Jezebel is seducing them?
Yes.
H5377, sorry, is Nasha, which means to lead astray. That is mentally to delude or morally to seduce.
Seduction.
Same thing.
Yes. Adam was seduced. And what does seduction mean? Are we able to break the seduction down as well?
I wonder if the Hebrew is there. Let me see if the Hebrew is there. Seduce. Oh, it's only used in the New Testament. So we'll only get it in the Greek. Let's see if it has a similar meaning to the Hebrew. Seduce. To lead astray. Same thing. Positively to stray from truth. To err. Seduce.
So manipulation. Yeah? Manipulation falls under seduction.
Yes, and hence lead astray.
Yeah.
So that is why the woman, let's go to seduce. We're looking at the meaning. We're going to look at the meaning of seduce. And seduce as used by the Messiah in Revelation 2:20 to cause to roam from safety, truth, or virtue. And to seduce my servants, to cause them to roam from truth. That's what a prophetess does when the prophetess starts to teach. It will make the people of the Most High go into error, go astray, deceive, err, seduce, wander, be out of the way. All of the meanings saying the same thing. to lead people into error. Go ahead, bro.
And to affirm what you're saying is actually true about this person or this prophetess and the many other prophetess that have arisen in these times. Have you noticed she keeps teaching the people the wrong thing and saying the lawlessness of sin is the new world order? Have you noticed that lie?
No, I haven't listened to her
Second,
much.
Second Thessalonians 2 from all the way verse 3 down. He says what? Him that letteth. Bro, if you can just go there, let me show you something quickly. An error that she's teaching people. Let me just, so that people know that this is just to teach and to bring out the truth so that there's salvation. Because anyone who believes a lie, anyone who loveth a lie, is equally going to be bound and be destroyed in the end. All right? Let me show something. She speaks about the lawlessness of sin and the man of sin and what, and the NWO is the lawlessness of sin. And I'm thinking, this is why you are not supposed to be teaching. This is the reason why.
But bro,
yes,
we don't even have to go into this, you know. I saw she did a teaching and I actually saved it. She said in her videos that about what is coming upon this earth.
Yes.
And she actually said, but you will be fine. Those who, I didn't remember she said subscribers are those who watch this channel. Those who follow this channel, you'll be okay. And that the Holy Spirit, I think she said, I want to get it exactly. I don't want to tell any lies on her. But in essence, what she was saying is that those who follow her channel will be okay. And I was saying, those who follow your channel.
What kind of authority is that? Yes.
What kind of authority? Where did that come from? And I actually stopped the video right there and didn't go any further. And I paused it on it. And if I was one of those who would take things from people, inserts and make a video out of it, I would have. But
you'd have done a commentary, yeah.
It has, but I don't do that.
I think some of the people listening here probably listen to her, all right? That's why they're coming up with this. Let me just correct this, just quickly, just 1 minute. Let me just
Second Thessalonians 2.
2 Thessalonians 2 verse 3. This is very important because I want people to understand this and understand it clearly. We don't take pleasure in this. There is no pleasure in people going to hell. All right, that will be very foolish of us. Now listen, it says, "Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition." Now, Shaul wrote this thing, what, about 2K plus years?
Less than 2K.
Less than 2,000 years. Now, how long? Even to take 300 years, you know how long that is? There has been the falling away. The man of sin he was speaking about has been revealed in the name of Jesus. Jesus is the man under which the whole world has been told that there is no more law. The law is done away with. Isn't it the truth?
Yeah.
So how do you tell people that the NWO is actually going to be the time when lawlessness prevails on the earth? Lawlessness has been since these letters were written. And now we've seen that the love and the hearts of many have grown cold and have waxed cold. And verse 4 says, "Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called Alua." We know who does that. That is Jesus Christ. The very same name she continues to call on her channel.
Yes.
Or that is worshipped, so that he as Alua sitteth in the temple of Alua, showing himself as the Most High. Who is sitting in the Most High being worshipped? Who does the Catholic bow down to? Who hangs on that cross?
Most Christians worship him. JC.
Yeah. Worship JC. Yeah. And this is the man of lawlessness we are talking about. He is a reason why the whole earth is filled with so much pride, so much selfishness, because this very man, as Shaul writes there, he says, is by the working of who? Of Satan. Of Satan. So these are some of the few things just to pull out to show you that she is not supposed to be teaching. And in the end of this teaching, we are going to show you the difference between prophesying and teaching, because there is a fine line, and I know many struggle to be able to understand what it looks like to teach.
And another thing, she says the Messiah is coming back for Christians, and I have never heard her speak about the Shabbat. I have never heard her speak about the law, obedience to the law. nothing to do with righteousness,
Yeah.
nothing to call people. I haven't heard calling people to the righteousness of the Torah.
Mm.
So it is tough. It is
But
not
you know,
looking. Yeah, go
you
ahead.
what she's doing is that this is the same trap many of Christian prophets and pastors fell to. You know, the moment the Most High starts to do something through you, it is easily you are it is easy to lose the plot. You can easily get carried away and be swollen headed, and this is how
Yes.
many are led astray, because now you
Yes.
think you are so special that all men need to draw from you. All right, this is the
Yes.
temptation that comes with when you are
Yes.
immersed in knowledge and understanding. It draws people. So if you look at the Yahusha, you will realize oftentimes he denounces many of the appraisals that come. He says to
Mm-hmm.
people, nope, go and do the law. Go and do the law.
Yes.
Continue to do the law. So this person is making it sound again like what the Christian prophets do. The prophets always saying, I'm the one that the Most High is revealing things to. And I've heard her say this. Most High says, I am the end time prophetess for this season. She even declares herself that way,
Yeah.
right? Oh yes, I mean I've seen many of her videos that she says that, and if people want to argue this, we can pull it all out for them. But it's not important. It's not necessary here. But the point is that the significance. This is the whole point. The gifts are easily able to seduce you if you don't hide yourself from sharing in the glory, because when you are supposed to deliver the word and run away, walk away. Look at Nathan. Look at Elijah. They came, they said, this is what the Most High is saying, and then off they went. They are not there to
Yes.
clarify on it. You would make sense. The word is so clear that it doesn't need interpretation. And this is the word of prophecy. It is told and it's provided. The solution is also provided at the end. So
Okay.
this is a yeah.
And remember also, as it somebody was saying something.
Yeah, brother
Yes,
Pedro.
yes.
Yeah.
I was saying that understanding all this, it has come with the times of hardships amongst mankind. But the truth is one. Truth, you do not defend the truth. When we go into listening to all these people, when we have the truth, for those who are not strong enough in the faith, they get lured away from the truth. So
Mm.
therefore, when we have the scriptures and we know the truth has been revealed to us, we need to stand with the truth and proclaim the truth, because we do have the truth. The truth is like a lion. You do not defend the lion. The lion defends itself. So
Mm.
we cannot stand to want to defend the truth because this and that. No, we proclaim it. We project the truth, and those who are chosen, they shall receive the truth. Because with these people, when we hear the names that they are pronouncing, they are already the names of blasphemy. It's not about our Father, it's not about our Redeemer. It's all about the lies, the entire Messiah. So therefore, the truth is the only one that can lead us to righteousness, to safety. Again, this is one issue that I have. We also do draw a lot of people in order to compare. We do have the truth. Light is one, darkness is one. We need to follow the light, we need to follow the truth so that we are not confused by all the teachings of the world, of these false people. I rest my case.
Yep. And to add to that, the prophets of old, we have their scriptures, and the reason we have their scriptures is because the scriptures were not explained. They just spake what they had to speak and wrote it down and give it to us. And as Apostle Kepha went on to say, that the prophets of old, they did not know what manner this salvation would be manifest, but they just spake it. All right? So that's what a prophet or prophetess should be. Speak and leave it.
Yes.
That's it.
And walks away, because when you stand there to entertain questions, guess what is going to do? Guess what's going to happen? People are going to look at you or look unto you as the Most High to seek, expect advice, counsel, lecture, teach something. They're going to entice you. So your job is to deliver the message just as the Most High has said it.
Yes.
All right. And then you move away, you go back to where you came from. That's all. Leave the people to for the word to lead them to do what they need to do in order to be restored.
And then that is the connection now between a prophet and a teacher. All right. Of course, you
Yes.
can have prophets who are teachers, but the Most High gives the teachers, he raises up men as teachers to explain what the prophets were saying. That's it. So a prophetess proclaims the word, and then the teacher will be able to explain the word. It's as simple as that. But it's easy for us to get swell-headed and to not walk in our calling. I've tried several times to tell her, and I told her, I said, you are a prophetess, you are not called to teach. I said, men are teachers. All right, allow the men to teach, do not teach. So it's not like I haven't tried. I have tried. All right, but as I said, not want to be wanting to call names and be in this bickering and whatever. No, because there are some people who do that. Some people use it as an opportunity to build up their channel by attacking someone. Everybody wants to see what they're saying about this person and build up their numbers. No, we're not into that. All right, we're not into slandering people, or it shouldn't be slander because it's we're not into name calling. All right, so we see seduce actually means to bring people out of the way. So when we go back to Revelation 2:20, because thou sufferest that woman Jezebel, that woman who is a false teacher, because that's what Jezebel means, which calleth herself a prophetess, to teach or to instruct and to seduce or to lead astray my servants to commit fornication and to eat things sacrificed unto idols. So meaning of, we're going to look at meaning of things sacrificed unto idol. Where is it? Where is it? Yeah. Meaning of things sacrificed unto idol. And these are what the false teaching. Okay, we're not just speaking about that person. That person is just one of the many, 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 many. We're talking about all of them. All of them. So, meaning of things sacrificed unto idol. It comes from the Greek word idoluthuton, and meaning of a neuter compound of G1497 and a presumed derivative of G2380, an image sacrifice that is part of an idolatrous offering. Meaning that is offered in sacrifice to unto idols. Now, if it was the days when we were showing images, we would have shown the idol to which most of this is being sacrificed, JC. The second beast, PZ stigma, Christ on a cross. That is the heart of almost all of the offerings of many of these women. Many of them from the Christian viewpoint. And even if they are not Christians, they still have the Christian viewpoint. Offering sacrifice unto JC, the idol Jesus Christ, in the name of JC. So they're causing people to actually commit fornication, which is idolatry, and to partake of things sacrificed unto idols. That idols, one of those idols, of course, is JC. So this verse 20 is very, very revealing of the neo-Christian women who are out there leading the charge, calling themselves prophetesses and teaching, seducing the people of the Most High and causing them to err. Okay? You're with me, bro?
Yes, I'm here.
All right. So, believers will be punished with great tribulation for letting women teach them. Let's go to Isaiah 2:21. Revelation 2:21. Do not follow these people. Matter of fact, I need to unsubscribe to her, and I have a couple more that I have subscribed to. Verse 21.
And I gave her space to repent of her fornication, and she repented not.
And she repented not. Continue.
Behold, I will cast her into a bed, and them that commit adultery with her into great tribulation, except they repent of their deeds.
You see that?
Yeah.
I will cast her into a bed. Is that a literal bed? All of the fornicators together will be bunched up together.
Mm.
And they will be cast into great tribulation. The words, it's not us saying it, it's the words.
Yeah.
If a prophetess, you call yourself a prophetess and you are teaching, then this is the risk for you. So I'm not calling out anyone and saying this will happen to them. I'm just telling what the scripture says. Great tribulation, except they repent of their deeds. So our people need to stop following these women teachers and repent. Verse 23.
And I will kill her children with death. And all the assembly shall know that I am he which searcheth the reins and hearts, and I will give unto every one of you according to your works.
All right. So it's very, very serious for those who call themselves prophetesses and teach the people of the Most High, causing them to go astray in the Ruach of Hua. And continue. No. 24.
24. But unto you I say, and unto the rest of Thyatira, as many as have not this doctrine, and which have not known the depths of Satan, as they speak, I will put upon you none other than burden.
All right. So why would he put upon them none other burden if they do not have this doctrine?
Because they are ignorant of Satan's schemes.
No, because they have works, they have charity, they have service, they have emunah, they have patience, and they have works even more greater than the first.
Yeah.
So they are ready in all respects. The one blemish is that they suffer Jezebel, which calls herself a prophetess, to teach. So, as many as have not known this doctrine. What's the meaning of doctrine there? Let's look at that as well.
I give you good doctrine.
Instruction, the act or the matter. Doctrine hath been taught. In other words, if you have not allowed this woman or these women to teach you and to lead you astray, then you will be good. That's just it. That's just simply it. Okay? So verse 25 to 29. Read 25 to 29, please.
But that which ye have already hold fast till I come. And
so all the works and the patience and the emunah and everything, hold fast until he comes, because you are good as long as you don't follow the doctrine of this Jezebel. Verse 26.
And he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations.
Continue.
And he shall rule them with a rod of iron. As the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I received of my Father. And
all right.
I will give...
You can't... No, that's all right. So here's this now. Here's what the difference. These people who are walking in perfection, the ones who follow the doctrine of the Jezebel, these will be thrown into great tribulation. Yes?
Yeah.
But, and not only go into great tribulation, they will be killed. But the rest of those, hold fast till I come. So what does that say about the rest of them? The rest of them will be preserved. You seeing that, bro?
Yep. Yep.
Hold fast till I come. That means those of you who are walking in this perfection, you will be good. You will be preserved until I come, but the rest of them will go through great tribulation and be destroyed. That's how serious it is to be led by a woman. That's how serious it is to be letting a woman teach you. Well,
This is
late there.
yeah.
Who hath an ear to hear?
Here. That's it.
Read verse 29.
He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the assembly.
That's it. Let him hear. It's not personal. All right. Not calling her a Jezebel. Definitely not. Just saying that the Ruach of Jezebel manifests itself in a woman wanting to teach and leading people.
You, you, you know, this is very, it's very dangerous. And yeah, only those that have a heart for obedience, that have denied themselves and are following the Mashiach, will be able to understand this and do this and get this. Because this is not gonna take anything from you, but actually bring you love, bring you security, protection, according to the way of the Most High. You will be guided, you will be shielded, you will be protected from the wiles and the schemes of the enemy. This is exactly what this is all about. You know, I recently saw a post on Facebook on one of these Israelite groups, and and I was very amazed, but I wasn't amazed as well, because I couldn't believe that even the male teachers who are running the group couldn't spot that and call that out. But I saw a comment by one mature, I think mature lady. I would say she's advanced in age. She says that I will never support a man because I will never be subjected to a man. And the next thing she added was that submission makes a woman weak, and a man cannot be helped from underneath him. So a man needs to be helped from the side, equality.
Yeah.
And then she quoted Jeremiah, a passage in Jeremiah of which I realized she has actually shot herself again in the foot, about a woman in the latter times, women going to be a compass unto the man. And it wasn't referring to that. It wasn't referring to a woman. It was referring to Yasharal. And and I just looked at it and I was in disbelief. And this is how subtle the serpent is. When she drops her words, her doctrine, knowledge of good and evil, it is so sweet, it is so nice, you will not notice it. It sounds and looks like life. It sounds liberating. That is a word. It sounds very liberating, very like freedom, as if the Most High's word puts bondage on us. So Satan's words always sounds like it wants to. It is aimed at liberating you from something that is awful. But that is not the truth. The truth is that when she is done with you, then you would know that she's beguiled you. All right? So these are the subtle deceptions. And when you see this, oftentimes sometimes I just even don't have the strength, but I would just pass on the comment and just move on. Because once you've also seen it as a man, then clearly as a righteous, you cannot be quiet. Then what is the point in knowing the truth? And sometimes I'm like, hey, Father, why did I have to see you? Why did I have to see this message? I could have just seen other things. But I saw it because he definitely wants these people to see the light. All right. So there is a misconception. There is an evil doctrine that equally is good, because Satan cannot create anything out of a vacuum. She's going to take the very same word The very same word. That has been her tactics from the beginning, the very same word. And then she's going to cause you to undermine the Most High, because it's about the quality of your obedience. It's not the quantity of what you're doing, the qualitative. So when Yahuwah says help, he means help. If you don't understand help, go check the context from which Yahuwah's help is all about. If Yahuwah says lead as a man, go find out. If you don't know what, that's why he says ask of him who gives liberally to all men wisdom. Go read his Torah. It's not there. You can't imagine. You're not supposed to imagine this. He's written it out, given it through his prophets. He's revealed it all so that we can know and be able to abide in it, in his word, not in our own thinking and imagination.
All right. So, I think I missed something. I spoke about the Jew world order. Remind me, I think I left off something there. Before, if I'm finished and we don't speak about it, Shamuel.
All right.
Yeah, I have something else on it, not a scripture. All right. So that was that. Let's as I said, we have a video to do about women and the subjection when we're going to bring everything together scripturally so we can all see what the scripture says and have greater insight into what the scripture actually means about that. And it is just what it is. We just speak the truth as we are led. People will like us today, and then tomorrow they hear something they don't like. And it has always happened. I've never seen people like us for long. Me especially for long, being the person who's in the forefront. I've never seen people, almost everyone has hit out on me sometime in the point in time as they bring out the truth. But it is what it is. The truth is the truth, and I will die for the truth. It is what it is. All right? So, as we said, that those who subject themselves to this woman teaching will go into great tribulation and will be killed in the tribulation. But those who don't will escape. So it brings us to the point now that some believers will be counted worthy to escape. But it is not our call. The call belongs to the Mashiach, the Ruach Mashiach. That is who the call belongs to the Father through his Ruach. And for that, we go to Luke 21:34-36, a verse that we should know verses that we should know by heart. By this, it's almost here with us every single week because it is end times, and this is end time prophecy. Verse 34. Shamuel.
Oh, sorry, bro. And take heed to yourself, lest at any time your hearts be overcharged with surfeiting and drunkenness and cares of this life, and so that they come upon you unawares.
All right. So, as we said before, Thyatira showed us that they were in perfection. And what this is also saying that we must be in perfection and take care that we are not carried away with surfeiting, going after excess, and drunkenness, being carried away with the drunkenness of Babylon, which is why you have to flee the midst of Babylon, or else you'll be carried away with your drunkenness, and cares of this life. If you are in Babylon, you're going to be held down with the cares of this life, because as long as you exist here, you're going to have cares of life. What am I going to eat? What am I going to drink? Where is this bill going to come from? What am I going to get there? How, what, why, where, how? Always in Babylon. So that's why when you free yourself from Babylon, then you free yourselves from surfeiting, which is excess, because you no longer you are only now going to be self-subsistent. So you're not going to be there trying to crave and get things from other places. You're just going to do what you need to do. In drunkenness, you'll not be carried away by the lifestyle and the ways of life of Babylon. And the cares of this life, you are not going to care. All you're going to care about is planting and growing and reaping, etc. And so that day come on you unaware. So because you are caught away with surfeiting and drunkenness and cares of this life, then you're going to get carried away. Verse 35.
For as a snare shall it come on all them that dwell on the face of the whole earth.
So the great tribulation is going to come as a snare. It's going to come on us unawares. Verse 36.
Watch ye therefore and pray always, that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man.
So to the Thyatirians, if that is the word, he said, hold fast till I come. So he says now that you must pray always and watch, that you may be accounted worthy to escape all these things, this great tribulation, and to stand before the Son of Man, to hold fast until he comes.
And
yes, go ahead.
Another thing is that there's a reason why he says to be accounted worthy, to stand before the Son of Man. Because even if you escape these tribulations, let's look at Luke 19:27 to see what is going to happen to you. Even if you find yourself, hi bro, can you hear me?
Yeah, you said let's look at
Luke 19:27. Why the Messiah says to escape all these things that shall come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man, Now, it's not anyone who can be able to stand before the Son of Man. All those that are rebellious, that go against the very word that he obeyed and subjected himself to, won't have that privilege to stand before him. So listen to what it says. It says, but those
start from 26.
All right.
Start from 26.
For I say unto you that unto everyone which hath shall be given, and from him that hath not, even that he hath shall be taken away from him. And then verse 27 says, but those mine enemies, which would not that I should reign over them, bring hither and slay them before me. These are the very same people that are lawless, that go against the will and the order of the Most High, that refuse to submit, to deny themselves in doing and living according to the will and the purpose or the ways of the Most High. That is his word. These are they. So anyone who refused to do the words of this book will be slayed. That's what the Yahusha himself, the Messiah, is saying. Shall be slayed before him.
Yep. Yes, indeed. And these are those who were given. This importance of 26, they were given, but they did not do anything with it profitable.
Yep.
All right. So where were we again? Okay, so we had finished 36. So we have now Revelation 3:7-13. It's another of the assemblies. All right. All right, so no, you don't have to remind me again. This is where it is. We told you that it is a great jubilation. And the Bible tells us that these people have part and parcel in this world order that is coming. And let's see the Bible confirm it again. Start at verse 7, please.
And to the angel of the church in Philadelphia, write.
Of the assembly.
I don't know why I missed
Remember, church is their lie. Churches are pagan temples. His people in the end time will not be in pagan temples.
Yes, brother. Thanks for the correction. Yes, I'll memorize it.
Yeah.
And to the angel of the assembly in Philadelphia, write. These things saith he that is holy, he that is true, he that hath the key of David, he that openeth and no man shutteth, and shutteth and no man openeth. I know thy works. Behold, I have set before thee an open door, and no man can shut it. For thou hast a little strength, and hast kept my word, and hast not denied my name.
All right, so three virtues here. Have a little strength, kept his word, and have not denied his name. Verse 9.
Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee.
All right. So he mentions there again the synagogue of Satan, the Jews again. Why does he mention the Jews here? And we're going to see the connection again with the tribulation, with the time of temptation that will come in the end. Verse 10.
Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world, to try them that dwell upon the earth.
Ah, you see the connection, bro?
Yes.
The hour of temptation is great tribulation. And who does he mention again?
The synagogue of Satan are behind it all.
Ah.
Are behind it all. They are the very same people who sit there in Pergamos can I mention names? Because we are revealing these things. I think it's good we mention these names. These are the very same seed lines that sit there as the Rothschilds, the Bilderbergers, the Oppenheimers, all the names you can think about in Europe. These
Yeah.
are the names. They are all from the synagogue. They are all Khazars. They are all from that very same temple.
Yes. And these are the people who are behind great tribulation. And almost 2000 years ago, Mashiach. And that is why, I'm telling you, this Bible, I don't know how, well, I know how people don't believe it because they don't study to the depths of it and get revelations from it. But it is so powerful. It's actually telling us what is happening today, so that we can know that a people who say they are Jews and are not are going to be the people orchestrating this thing. Now, these people who say they are Jews and are not, they defend themselves and you cannot say anything against them. Yes. Nowhere at all. Because guess what? They control everything. Now, the Jews in the end time is prophesied to be a wretched people, a trampled people, people who are a proverb and byword, poor people and afflicted. But these people are rich and control everything. Facebook, Google, all of those big places are controlled. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm saying the banks.
Yes, the banks, everything is controlled by them. Even the government of the United States. I saw something once that showed you all the Jews who are in position there. And man, it was mind-boggling to see the amount of JEWS who are there.
Yeah.
Man, they control everything. And so they are behind. That's why I call it Jew world order. Okay? So the people in Philadelphia, these are the ones that are going to get them to worship at their feet. And he tells us why. Verse 10.
Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world, to try them that dwell upon the earth.
So these will be accounted worthy to escape the tribulation. Verse 11.
Behold, I come quickly. Hold that fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown.
So those who are in perfection, is another thing. Those who are in perfection will be counted worthy to escape. So that is why when we come here, we speak every single thing to get us into righteousness, to get us into perfection. Every little single minute detail. Everything from how we dress, to how we eat, to what we say, to everything. What else can we say again?
Every detail, nothing left out. Everything.
Yes.
Even the ones that are scary to talk about.
Yes. Even the ones that they will no doubt hate us and smear us with.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how it is. All right, verse 12.
Him that overcometh will I make a pillar in the temple of my allure. And he, let me read that again. I'm happy to hear this. It's encouraging. And I want somebody to listen to this part. It's very encouraging. This is a promise. All right. and it will come to pass. Him that overcometh will I make a pillar in the temple of Alua. Now, can you imagine being a pillar in the temple of the Most in the Most High, bro? Can you imagine? You were nothing on this earth. You were rubbished. You were made to think less of yourself. You were denied many things because you spoke the truth. Your relationships were broken because you spoke the truth. Everything that you had literally was stripped of you because you spoke the truth in order to liberate people from the lies and the snares that has been perpetuated for centuries, which has robbed generations into the kingdom of darkness.
Yes.
Souls have been robbed. This is no cheap business. This is not a place for us to sit and be lying. I refuse to be unworthy like the Christian teaches. I refuse, and we all refuse here. Because the Most High cannot owe any man. The Most High is not a man that he should lie. So every word that is written in this book, unless you don't believe, then you might think it's a joke. But if he says, I'm going to make you a pillar, I mean, who am I? Who is man that you are mindful of? Who am I? Who is Brother Gaza? Who are we that the Most High should make a pillar in his temple? Let us take, I pray for our hearts, and I pray that believers in these times, because the comparison, a wave to a drop, a wave to a drop. Look at the comparison. Those that are going to be faithful are going to be like a drop, a drop. Do you know what a drop is? As compared to the wave, the ocean wave. I really pray for all of you, wherever you are. I pray that the Spirit, the Ruach Hamat, will lead you, and you will allow yourself to be led into all truth. Even the difficult ones that seem to challenge you, that you will submit yourself and not harden yourself as in the day of provocation. May we have a heart of meekness as Moses. May we have a heart of humility, filled with humility. You are not going to lose out on anything, even if men talk down on you, even if you are trashed. Now is not the time to think highly of yourself. Now is the time to lay low. Let the vengeance be for the Most High. Let the Most High receive the vengeance. Don't take it into your hands. All right. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience.
All right. So we're going to look at this, because qualification for Philadelphia. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience. Let's look at what the word of my patience actually means by looking at 2 Thessalonians 3, 1-5. The word of my patience. We have to know, so we can also keep the word of his patience. Read, please.
Finally, brethren, pray for us, that the word of Yahuwah may have free course and be glorified, even as it is with you.
Go ahead. Let me see if I can catch it. Yeah.
All right. And that we may be delivered from unreasonable and wicked men. For all men have not faith. But Yahuwah is faithful, who shall establish you and keep you from evil.
All right. Yahuwah is faithful. He shall establish you, shall set you up, and keep you from evil. These are those who keep the word of his patience. Verse 4.
And we have confidence in Yahuwah touching you, that ye both do and will do the things which we command you.
All right. So this is a keeping of the word of his patience, that you both do and will do the things which you are commanded. The word of Yahusha's patience is that you do his words. And he told us in Revelation 18:4, he told us to come out of her, my people. Verse 5.
And Yahuwah direct your hearts into the love of Alua and into the patient waiting for Mashiach.
All right. So this is the patient waiting. The patience, the word of his patience is patiently waiting by doing the things which he commanded you. And then the Most High will deliver you from unreasonable and wicked men and keep you from evil and establish you until the coming of the Master, Yahushua HaMashiach. That clear, bro?
Yeah, very clear. Very, very clear.
All right, so let's end on a. I don't know if we end on a good note. Oh, we're going slow. His promised protection. So we're looking at believers at the time of great tribulation. We looked at those who are in danger. We looked at those who will be protected and those who will be rewarded. Let's look at the protection that we have promised for us, because it is good to hear the bad things. It is also good to hear the good things. And we know about the Psalm 91 protection. We have a video on the Kazakh Aliyahu channel, Psalm 91 and the command to flee from out of the midst of Babylon, that we suggest. And let's go Proverbs 30 verse 5 to begin our look here. So Proverbs 30 verse 5. Read, please.
Every word of Allah is pure. He is a shield unto them that put their trust in him.
So the protection that we're talking about, and this is how we're going to show, the protection is for those who have emunah, those who have faith, who put their trust in the Most High. This one says every word of Allah is pure. So when he says flee from the midst of Babylon, people dismiss it. You know, many people we see on the Kazakh Aliyahu channel, their response is to ignore the command to flee. Every word is pure. And he said several times over and over to flee. All right? But we refuse to follow that word. But what does he say? He's a shield unto them that put their trust in him. So you don't rest and reject his command and say that is putting your trust in him. No, putting your trust in him is to do what he says, no matter what the cost. All right?
At all
Psalm
times.
34. Yeah, go ahead. You're saying something?
I'm saying at all times, yeah. To put
Yes.
your trust. Yeah.
Psalm 34, 19. Read, please.
Many are the afflictions of the righteous, but Yahuwah delivereth him out of them all.
Continue.
He keepeth all his bones, not one of them is broken. Evil shall slay the wicked, and they that hate the righteous shall be desolate.
Continue.
Yahuwah redeemeth the soul of his servants, and none of them that trust in him shall be desolate.
It all boils down to this: trusting in him. And trusting in him is doing what he says and what he commands, regardless. 1 Corinthians 10, 9 to 15. Just looking at some good news here. 9 to 15. Read, please.
Neither let us tempt Hamashiach, as some of them also tempted and were destroyed of serpents.
So it's bringing us back to the wilderness when our people were our people bowed to the temptation and were destroyed of serpents. Verse 10.
Neither murmur ye, as some of them also murmured and were destroyed of the destroyer.
All right. So when it says let's not tempt a Mashiach, it's speaking of the Ruach Mashiach, or the Spirit of the Most High. So how do you tempt the Ruach? It is when you reject what the Ruach says and you dare the Ruach to do something. So many of us are daring. Many people here flee from Babylon. We are daring them and say, okay, no, he will come and get us. Yeah? He said to leave, and he said, no, he can take care of us. That is tempting him. But also, he says, do not murmur. So that's another thing. Murmurers. were destroyed of the destroyer. Verse 11.
Now all these things happen unto them for ensamples, and they are written for admonition, upon whom the ends of the world are come.
All right, you see that?
Yeah.
It happened to us for example, for us to look back on those things upon whom the ends of the world are come. So we are at the end of the age. So we look back on those things as an example so that we do not fall back in the same error. Continue.
Now all these things, 12. Wherefore let him that thinketh he standeth take heed lest he fall.
You see that?
Yeah.
When we are given instructions to do something and we say, oh, okay, we are okay. We are all right. He will come and get us. He has this. Let him that thinketh he standeth take heed lest he fall. Verse 13. Go ahead.
It goes back to the same passage we read, I think, about the wedding feast, where one came there not dressed in the right garment. That's overconfidence. Yeah.
Yes.
Say, no, but I know Yahuwah. I also have the invitation. Come on.
Yes.
It's not just you people. I also have the revelation, and then come and stand there and not heed to what the other man is telling you to do from the Most High. All right. Therefore,
So that is why it's important to follow all the commands. Because when you follow all the commands, you're not gonna think you stand. You are always gonna think that you are lacking. So you're gonna say, "Whoa, am I in the right way?" But those who refuse to follow some of his commands are gonna think, "Okay, now we are okay. We don't have to do that. We don't have to follow that. We don't have to." Verse 13.
There hath no temptation taken you, but such as is common to man. But Allah is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able, but will with the temptation also make a way to escape, that ye may be able to bear it.
You see that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Otherwise, faith will not suffer you to be tempted above that you are able. So when he says flee from the midst of Babylon, he knows that you are able to. And he also makes a way to escape. Yes?
Yeah. Yeah.
So when you face this thing and there are obstacles in your way of escaping Babylon, you don't worry. You know that the Most High will make a way to escape. Whether or not that way is your way, he will make a way to escape that you may be able to bear the temptation. That's it.
He will make a way because you trust in him, because
Yes.
he is the way. So how can the Most High be rooting for you and you don't even know and confide, and you don't even know where your confidence or your strength is or your source is?
Yep.
So he says he will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able to, but will with the temptation also make a way to escape. So you need to trust him, because he is the very same person who is going to make the way, not you.
Yep.
Yours is to act in faith, to show that I trust in you. Just as Proverbs 3 verse 5 says, you trust.
30 verse 5.
Yeah. And trusting comes with, I've never seen anyone say, oh, I believe the doctor is going to heal me. And yet when you are sick, you stay home and say,
Yes.
but I believe the doctor will heal me. How's the doctor going to heal you?
Yes.
Your faith is demonstrated when you move. I mean, not to tell you that to put your reliance in doctors, but I'm just using that just to explain briefly what trusting and belief looks like. When
Yes.
you believe in something well enough, you do what? You act on it. All right? You act on it. And hereby do we know that we have been given the commandments to what? To obey, the instructions to follow. Not to admire, not to keep it in our house and say, oh, the Bible, oh, today it sounds good, hey? Guys, oh, have you seen this passage? No, it is for us to apply it, all right, so that we can demonstrate this emunah that we have.
All right. 14 and 15.
Wherefore, my dearly beloved, flee from idolatry. I speak as to wise men. Judge ye what I say.
You see that?
Yeah.
When he says this, it's actually saying, look deeply into what I'm saying. It is not as how it appears. I speak as to wise men. That means you have to have wisdom to actually dig into what he's actually saying. So,
And
yeah, you're saying something?
an interesting, he says, flee from idolatry.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very, very important. And then
Yes.
there's another part where he says, flee fornication. Now, how
Yes.
do those two things come about? They come about through seduction. All
Yep.
right. It comes about through seduction. That's why it says, I speak as to wise men. Wise men, people who literally just do the word. They don't allow a second opinion. They just see the word and says, flee, you flee.
Mm-hmm.
You flee. That's what the word is telling me to do. That is trusting in Yahweh and leaning not onto my own understanding, but acknowledging him in all my ways. You do what
Yep.
the word says and you become a wise person.
All right. So they it says no temptation but taking you, but such as is common to man. So when this thing comes upon us, and the Most High says, flee from the midst of Babylon, it's nothing new. The great David had to also flee. And where is it? When Shaul, who they call Saul, was actually pursuing him. Read, please. Verse
To
1.
the chief musician, Alstashif, Michtam of David, when he fled from Saul in the cave.
When he fled from whom?
When he fled from Saul in the
Where?
cave.
In the cave. Well, there's nothing new. Let's just flee from the midst of Babylon, even in the caves. That's where our people fled. And it is from these persecutions, from these, what do you call it now? Seclusions, that we got many of the Psalms. It is in the affliction of David that we get many of the Psalms. Now, let's hear what David said in the cave. Continue.
Be merciful unto me, O Alua, be merciful unto me, for my soul trusteth in thee.
Hey! Why did David run to the caves? Why did David run to the caves?
To save
Because he
his soul.
trusted in Yahuwah.
Yahuwah.
You don't trust in Yahuwah and stay where you are. Same thing you said, you don't go trust the doctor and sit at home, saying the doctor will cure you. He didn't stay in Jerusalem. Shaul pursuing him. He didn't stay in Jerusalem and say, oh, I trust in Yahuwah. Shaul cannot catch me. He cannot come to me where I am. I am sound. I am safe in Yahuwah. No. He fled. Look at this. Fled in the cave.
Run for his life.
The start from be merciful again.
Be merciful unto me, O Alua, be merciful unto me, for my soul trusteth in thee. Yea, in the shadow of thy wings will I make my refuge, until these calamities be overpassed.
You see that verse? You see it, bro?
Yeah.
This is what we do in the time of tribulation.
Yeah.
We flee because we trust in the Most High, trusting in the shadow of his wings. His shadow of his wings will not be there in Babylon. Verse 2.
I will cry unto Alua Most High, unto Alua that performeth all things for me. He shall send from Shamayin and save me from the reproach of him that would swallow me up. Selah. Alua shall send forth his mercy and his truth.
All right, that's it. We just want us to meditate on these and relate it as it comes to the command to flee from the midst of Babylon and how some people are saying that it is okay. They will be okay. And look what David did. Shaul told us, the apostle Shaul told us that there's nothing that has come upon us that is not come unto man. So we look at the similitude. Tehillim 5, 8 to 12. Wow, time is going.
Yeah.
8 to 12. Read, please.
All right. Lead me, O Yahuwah, in thy righteousness because of mine enemies. Make thy way straight before my face.
Make thy
For
way
there-
straight. Show me how I should walk. Go ahead.
Yeah. For there is no faithfulness in their mouth. Their inward part is very wicked, is very wickedness. Their throat is an open sepulchre. They flatter with their tongue. Destroy thou them, O Alua. Let them fall by their own counsels, Cast them out in the multitude of their transgressions, for they have rebelled against thee. But let all those that put their trust in thee rejoice. Let them ever shout for joy, because thou defendest them. Let them also that love thy name be joyful in thee.
Let all those that put their trust in thee rejoice, because thou defendest them. Yes?
Yes.
Revelation 12, 13 to 17. This defense that he's going to defend them. Revelation 12, 13 to 17. When these people see this, people think that that they will not have to do anything. Verse 13.
And when the dragon saw that he was cast unto the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man child.
All right, the woman that brought forth the man child here is Yasharal, which brought forth the man child who is Yahusha HaMashiach.
Yes.
Continue.
And to the woman were given 2 wings of great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place, where she is nourished for a time and times, and half a time, from the face of the serpent.
So the woman brought into the wilderness. We are told to flee from the midst of Babylon. And we will be brought into the wilderness. So some people say that when we leave, we will be in the wilderness. And some people say we will be gathered together before we enter into the land and gathered together in one. All right, let's see. Verse 15.
Let me just add on to verse 14 quickly.
Yeah.
So it says, and to the woman were given 2 wings of great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place where she's nourished for a time. You see, this nourishment we are talking about, many people are gonna be changed in the wilderness. The Most High is gonna prune, all right, pruning. For a plant to grow, it has to go through pruning. So many hearts are going to be pruned. Many are going to be reduced to nothing. You're going to learn what it means to be humble in the wilderness. The wilderness, there's no better place to remember and to be taught what a lesson on being human. That is the best place to be taught the lesson of being human, where now there is absolutely nothing you find relevant, or your relevance will hinder on or will come from, where you have yourself and the Most High to look up to. All right. So many are going to be nourished in that way, in that sense. Many are going to cultivate the habit of humility when there is no one to impress but just you and the bush, the trees, the stones, and your families. That is all there is. So the wilderness is a beautiful place that we have to be, or we will be.
All right. So we have to try and make it quicker because time is going and we have more. All right. So the woman shall have 2 wings in the wilderness. Verse 15.
And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood.
16.
And the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth.
So the dragon, the serpent, will be trying to go after the seed of the woman that has fled or has been brought out by the Most High. And verse 17 says,
And the dragon was wroth with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of Allah and have the testimony of Yahusha.
all right, so this is a division here. There is obviously going to be some people who are going to be left behind with whom the serpent is going to make war. Remember, our teaching is about the believer and the great tribulation. Some will be accounted worthy to escape the tribulation. And if we are told to flee, and we do not flee, then we will be left at the mercy of the dragon. We'll be right there in the midst of Babylon, where the wicked know everything about us. As long as you have a cell phone, you are a marked person. As long as, the cell phone, that alone makes you marked. They know everything about us. They know who is on their side. They know who the enemy is. They know what we think because of manipulating and watching, studying us through social media, etc. They have their tricks to know where we are. They can do almost anything with us through the technologies that they have to destroy us. Yes? So those who choose to remain are going to be at the mercy of the dragon. Those who choose to leave, they will be protected by the Most High. So it is our choice. What do we do? Do we choose to leave or do we choose to stay? Remember, we are on the end time tribulation. Okay? So, what time is it? How much time is gone? Let me look on the radio to see how much time I have been on. 3 hours to... let's look at 2nd Baruch. We're going to look at the book of 2nd Baruch. See what's going to happen. His promised protection in the end times. 2nd Baruch, I think we're going to go 38 to 42. Read, please. Yeah.
All
Read,
right.
please. Yeah.
From verse 1, right? And I prayed and said, this is 2nd Baruch 38, verse 1, in case anyone is taking down notes. And I prayed and said, O Yahuwah, the sovereign master, you are the one who has always enlightened those who conduct themselves with understanding. Your Torah is life, and your wisdom is the right way. Now, show me the explanation of this vision, for you know that my soul has always been associated with your Torah, and that I did not depart from your wisdom from my earliest days.
So Baruch here got a vision and he's asking for the interpretation of this vision. Let me get this thing straight. Yeah, he's asking for the interpretation of this vision. So let's see. Read, please.
All right. Behold, the days come when the kingdoms that destroyed Zion once will be destroyed.
No, and Yahuwah answered and said to me.
All right. And Yahuwah answered and said to me, Baruch, this is the explanation of the vision which you have seen. As you have seen the great forest surrounded by high and rocky mountains, this is the world. Behold, the days will come when this kingdom that destroyed Zion once will be destroyed, and that it will be subjected to that which will come after it. This again will also be destroyed after some time, and another time, and a third will rise, and also that will Sorry. Let me go over it again. Sorry. This again will also be destroyed.
Hold on.
Yes.
All right. So the interpretation of the dream is actually going back to the statue that Nebuchadnezzar dreamt about. The days will come when this kingdom that destroyed Zion once will be destroyed. This is Babylon, right?
Yes.
And that it will be subjected to that which will come after it. Remember, Babylon was defeated by Medo-Persia and became subjected to Medo-Persia. Verse 4.
All right, verse 4. This again will also be destroyed after some time, and another, a third, will rise, and also that will possess power in its own time and will be destroyed.
All right, so after Medo-Persia, there is a third kingdom that came, and that was the Greek. This is the significance of these kingdoms. There were other kingdoms in the world, but the significance of this kingdom is that it is among these kingdoms that the Most High's people were in captivity. So first, Babylon, then Medo-Persia, then the Greeks, then verse 5.
Verse 5. After that, a fourth kingdom arises whose power is harsher and more evil than those which were before it. And it will reign a multitude of times like the trees on the plain, and it will rule the times and exalt itself more than the cedars of Lebanon.
So which kingdom is this?
This is the Romanos kingdom, the fourth industrial revolution.
The Romans. The Romans have been ruling for eons. From the Greeks were defeated when? It's sometime in BC, the Romans defeated the Roman. Because the time the Messiah was here, the Romans were ruling, right?
Yes, over 1,000.
Which is why I could say, render unto Caesar that which is Caesar's. You're saying something?
I'm saying, yeah, they've been in power for over 1,000 years, yes.
No. More. Before the Messiah was born.
Oh, yes.
He was born into the Roman kingdom.
Into the Roman kingdom, yes.
And these people have held a grip on the world in some way or shape or form. The English, British, and Romans, they are Romans. They are descendants of the Romans. And they run their kingdom along the line of the Romaim. The parliamentary buildings, democracy, and their stadiums, their churches, everything is Rome. So Rome has been ruling on and off. The world is ruled and led through religion by the Catholics, Rome. So we have a Roman kingdom, and the fourth industrial revolution is what? The fourth kingdom, iron, and the final kingdom, iron mixed with clay. It's Romans again.
Yeah.
So this end time new world Jew world order, it's actually a Roman order, Roman kingdom again.
You know, another interesting point you raised in there, all these individual kingdoms were very cunning, deceptive. Now think of the fourth industrial revolution, now integrating all the kingdoms together. Now it's a multitude of deception, wickedness.
Yes.
All right. So vile and so wicked. And that's why we are warned to say that it will be filled, the latter times will be filled with deception.
Mm-hmm. Verse 6.
Verse 6. And the truth will hide itself in this, and all who are polluted with unrighteousness will flee to it like the evil beast flee and creep into the forest.
Hey.
Wow.
So truth will hide itself in this. So that is why we have the corrupted religions that corrupt the world. And we have Babylon that has corrupted the world and twisted the world with their twisted education, everything, their twisted news, their twisted religions. Truth is hidden. And so we coming out of Babylon, speaking the truth, we become the enemies of those whose minds remain entrapped in Babylon. Yes? And those who are polluted with unrighteousness will flee to it like the evil beasts. That is why you see people latching on to this new world order. Latching on, they have to take this thing in their arm. Oh, I want to work. I have to take it. I need to this. I must travel. I must this. They flee to it like the evil beasts flee and creep into the forest. Verse 7.
And it will and it will happen when the time of its fulfillment is approaching, in which it will fall, that at that time the dominion of my anointed one, which is like the fountain and the vine, will be revealed. And when it has revealed itself, it will uproot the multitude of its host.
So when the Messiah will be revealed, he will uproot the multitude of its hosts. This is the same as in Daniel, when the stone will destroy the entire statue, head of gold, and the chest, and the thigh, and the leg, etc. And verse 8.
And that which you have seen, namely the tall cedar, which remained of that forest, and with regard to the words which the vine said to it, which you heard, this is the meaning.
Mm-hmm.
The last ruler who is
Yeah.
the last ruler who is left alive at that time will be bound, whereas the entire host will be destroyed, and they will carry him on Mount Zion, and my anointed one will convict him of all his wicked deeds, and will assemble and set before him all the works of his host.
So the Jew world order will have a leader. This will be the leader of this order that the Mashiach is going to destroy. Verse 2. No, the next verse.
Verse 2, okay. And after these things, he will kill him and protect the rest of my people, who will be found in the place that I have chosen. Whoa,
all right.
Listen to that. Will be found in the place I have chosen.
Yep. So he said to flee, we flee. Let him do the rest. He will not protect the people. It did not say he will protect the rest of my people who are found in Babylon. He will protect the rest of my people who will be found in the place that I have chosen. So he is going to set these people apart and then bring them into the land. Continue.
Yeah. And his dominion will last forever until the world of corruption has ended, and until the times which have been mentioned before have been fulfilled.
This is your vision, and this is its explanation. All right. Verse 1.
And I answered and said, for whom and for how many will these things be? Or who will be worthy to live in that time?
All right, we're gonna see who it is for. Continue.
All right. I shall now say before you everything that I think, and I shall ask you about the things of which I meditate. For behold, I see many of your people who separated themselves from your statutes, and who have cast away from them the yoke of your Torah. Further, I have seen others who left behind their vanity and who have fled under your wings. What will, therefore, happen with those? Or how will that last time receive them? Their time will surely not be weighed exactly, and they will certainly not be judged as the scale indicates.
All right, so the true believers and those who have turned away from the Most High. Just read to verse 2.
All right. And Yahuwah answered and said to me, also these things I shall show you. As for what you said, to whom and to how many will these things be? The tov that was mentioned before will be to those who have believed, and the opposite of these things will be to those who have despised.
All right. To those who have believed. And those who believe will trust in him, and those who trust in him will show emunah, and those who have emunah would have works. So those will be those who are obedient. Okay?
Yeah.
Hope that actually proves the point. So, that brings us, you can just look at these verses, Great Tribulation and the Fall of Babylon. This is what we hope will be our next presentation. So this should be what we do next week, Yahuwah willing, unless he gives us something else. Great Tribulation and the Fall of Babylon. We're actually going to look at the timeline. So these verses here actually tells us about Great Tribulation and the encouragement to flee from the midst of Babylon. But next week, we are actually going to look at a kind of timeline, events that will happen to believers before Babylon falls. So we get a timeline of exactly what will happen before, according to the scriptures, of course, what will happen before Babylon falls. And so we continue to encourage people to flee from the midst of Babylon. Because people, we are in a time of peace and safety, but there's not peace and safety. A lot of things are happening in the background. A lot of things are happening in the background, behind our very eyes. And a lot of things that we cannot see. This place is now a very dangerous place to be in the midst among all these people. And some things I don't even know how to say them, but these people with their censorship, you can hardly say anything. The time is actually past when we should leave here because of the pestilence and everything that these people have coming. It is not over. Mark of the beast still upon us. Their CV-19 thing reached to the point where it reached a peak and could go no more. So they withdrew it. And rest assured, they're coming with something else to get that same device inside of us. They are not going to relent. All right? We have the war that they seem to be pushing to be coming upon us. There are a whole lot of things that are coming upon us, and which we hopefully, Yahuwah willing, we should look at next week. All right? So, yeah. And we have started the website, kazakh.eliyahu.com. You can also go and check that out. All right? Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, kazakh.eliyahu.com, as well as to this channel, Just a Word, for more of our teachings. All right? So, is El Pedro there? I'd like to hear from him before he leaves. Has he left us yet? Or is he there? El Pedro. All right. Oh, he's not here. I don't see El Pedro. No, he's not here. All right. I haven't heard from Brother Mahar. Oh, Brother Mahar. Never heard your voice since we started. Let's hear from Brother Mahar.
Shalom, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Just like in the scripture, it says, flee from fornication, or flee adultery, or flee idolatry. That means if we are going to flee all those things, we don't continue in them, right? So the very same thing when we are told to flee from the midst of Babylon, we should not stay there. So why would flee apply to all the others by stop doing them or leaving from them?
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to flee from the midst of Babylon, we stay in Babylon. That would be very confusing. And we know that the Most High words just confuse. We are the ones who complicate things. So we definitely should obey the command, because indeed, because we were born in this world and take shape of the things of this world, the time is now at hand. Because yes, indeed, we are in the latter days, like the last hour. So we should not want to remain in a place where the system causes us to be corrupted. Why should we want to remain there? And it will be a clear sign that we love the Most High. So therefore, we are going to obey Him into fleeing from the midst of these wickedness, knowing that He will provide for us wherever we go. And as long as we go where He said to flee, He will redeem us from there. He will gather us from there. And He will teach us. He will purge from among us the rebels. And He definitely will not leave us nor forsake us. So just want to encourage anyone who are still wondering if I should flee or not flee. There is a part of it which I can take a chance and say common sense. Because like I said earlier, we receive all these wickedness from the midst of Babylon, who are ruling many of us today, which the Most I knew that, because He said in His word that you are scattered in all these nations where you will serve other gods, you will serve idols, gods your fathers didn't know, or your forefathers didn't know, and it came to pass. It happened. It happened. So He says, I will gather you back and take you back into your own land. This land is not ours, we're just passing through. So unless you want to take this place for your own place, it is going to be up to you. But the command is to flee. And from us, the suggestion is to flee, because the word says to flee from the midst of wickedness. Do you like wickedness? Do you will to stay in wickedness, or to take yourself out and see Yahuwah with all your heart, mind, and soul, loving Him, so that we will be able to love our neighbors, even our enemies, because these things are what will push us to the point of perfection. That great love of the Most High. If you love me, keep my commandment. This is also a command. So it will show us up that we love the Most High, or we're not sure, or we don't love Him. All right, so let's not be lukewarm. Let's just obey the Most High in all things, so His will and His purpose be done in our lives. So let it be.
So let it be. Shamuel.
Yeah, shalom.
Shalom.
Everything that needs to be said has been said. All right. I just continue to encourage everybody to try and heed to the words. Right. It may not make sense to you right now, but your faith is what you should be counting on to do the word. Just to do the word. Just try it out. Just try it out. But don't avoid it and then later come and realize it was actually true. Then the Satan has actually beguiled you. Then you have allowed yourself to be deceived. There is no harm in doing the word. So as the word has come, the posture of your heart is very important. Your heart's posture. Take the word as it has been sent and begin to do it. Understanding will come later. All right? Understanding will come later. And this is what Emunah has to do for us in these times. Let's allow the Spirit of truth to lead us into all truth, not some. So I'm encouraging all of us that let's seek and strive to please the Most High and no man. Do not listen to the government and what they're telling you about all these rights and what. No, it's all a trap that is going to lead you somewhere that you will regret later. All right? Listen to the word of the Most High and do it at all times. Even when the people around you leave, still be encouraged and continue to press on. Because I know many of you, the moment you started abiding by the truth, walking in it, believing in the Messiah and the doctrine he brought, many people have walked away from you. Do not be dismayed. Just forget about it. But trust in the living Yahuwah, the Alua of spirit, the one that raises us when we are dead physically, the one that raises our soul, the same spirit that raised up Yahusha. Trust in this very same spirit. All right? Lean onto his word whilst you have life now, whilst you are here, and get it right. Because we have been sent here to see who is actually going to do the will of the Father, who is going to obey him throughout. And this is your chance. All right, so press on, ignore what other people are saying. Don't lean onto the words of men, but lean onto the word of the Most High. Shalom.
All right. So, little summary here. Today we looked at what is Great Tribulation, why Great Tribulation, how many shall be saved. We looked at the JEW world order and how some believers will be perfected by fire going through what we call jubilation, tribulation. And the highlight today, we looked at how people will be punished for letting women teach them. All right. And we also looked at the fact that some people will be counted worthy to escape the great, great tribulation. And we looked at his promised protection. And we concluded by pointing to what we hope is part 2, which is Great Tribulation and the fall of Babylon. All right. So that was what we looked at today. Hope you got something out of it. Want to thank each and everyone for being here, for watching us, for being with us. Want to thank those in the chat who are here with us each and every week. Want to thank you all for doing that. Please like if you like and leave a comment, share, and subscribe if you have not to this channel, as well as our channel for shorter videos, which is Kazakh Aliyahu channel, where we post shorter videos within average 20 to 30 minutes or so videos, shorter teachings that you can more easily assimilate. All right. And as I said before, Kazakh Aliyahu channel is also KazakhAliyahu.com is also up. All right. So that's it. That's where we are today. Want to thank you all on YouTube for being with us and love you all. And until next time, shalom, shalom. There were some questions there, but some of them will take too much time to actually expand on. Maybe we'll expand on them because Yahuwah willing, I hope to do a video on woman submission on the Kazakh Aliyahu channel. Probably look at them there. All right. So one of the questions was one of the person was asking, where should I flee? And I can tell you that I cannot tell you that. It is up to you and the Most High. And if you have the desire, if you have the will, the Most High will make a way. Just put your foot down, pray, seek him, and he will find a way. Trust me on that. He will just make things happening. If you have not yet had that type of emunah, then you need to have it, to actually put all your trust in the Most High. Not looking to man to answer the questions, but just moving and watching the Most High do his thing. As he said, was it to Moses, stand still and see the salvation of Yahuwah? This is one of those times, all right? So, yeah, until next time, shalom, everyone on YouTube. Shalom, shalom, shalom.
Shalom, 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 family.
All right.
Basil,
Yes.
yeah, before you close on YouTube, just one
Yeah.
small piece to what you just said.
Yeah.
that person can also start to seek a place, not just to pray and sit down and seek a place to go also. That's where the action part of the faith comes in. Or the
Yes.
action.
Yes. Yeah. So when you start seeking, you will actually put, as I said, put your foot down, put your foot forward. And when you start putting your foot forward, which is actually seeking a place, then the Most High will make everything come into fruition. All right. So have a great Shabbat, everyone there on YouTube land. All right?